Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War stream. So today, of course, the biggest thing that ended up happening is we have ourselves a brand new faction of City of Thieves. This, if I'm not mistaken, is associated to Leonis Empire, which oddly enough should be bringing it to like 16 stars or something like that. Should be going up quite a few stars. Not sure if I'll be bottlenecked based on some kind of requirement. I don't think we are, because the next biggest requirement, I believe, is the owning 2 maxed out pets. So we shouldn't be at that point yet, because I don't believe that's until the 16 to 17 star. So we're probably not going to need to deal with that. Also, I just realized this stream's been unlisted this entire time. Fail. Now it's public. Now you guys can see it. Whoops. Why does YouTube do that occasionally? I do not know. Should I go double check to see if it's monetized? Yeah, it's still monetized. For whatever reason, it loves to just randomly private my stream sometimes. Or not private, but it makes it unlisted, which is basically nearly the same as private because it doesn't send out the notification thingy or anything like that. But anyways, yeah, we're going to be focused obviously on this kingdom, going over it, going and getting into it, doing teams for it, messing with troops and all that good stuff. But for the most part, just at this moment, getting into it, going and getting a bunch of copies of the troops and going from there. That's a penguin? Does it look like a penguin? I guess it's supposed to be a rogue. Doesn't that look like a penguin? Oh, no, I guess it kind of does. But yeah, I guess it's supposed to be a rogue. This is a rogue-based kingdom. Every single thing in this kingdom is indeed a rogue. We encountered an oddly out-of-place city. Raven seemed to know something about it. Let's see. What is this doing down here in the underworld? What? Ah, my friend. You do not know of this city, then? No idea. It is the City of Thieves. It moves around. And today, it is here. Come. Okay. And, what do we run with it? Let's just run quick kill with any Rowan or Sunbird team. Get that killed out quickly. Hello, Jason. Hello, Drox. Hello, Flaming. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Matt. Yeah, sorry about that. The stream was down for like the first minute, as well as the entire time prior to the stream. For whatever reason, YouTube defaulted it to unlisted. Why you gotta be like that, YouTube? I never clicked it unlisted once, yet it does it ever so occasionally for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, this faction brings in a couple interesting troops. They're all based on extreme greed. So they all have this trait which does 4 extra gold every single time you extra turn. Most of them aren't really that good. However, 2 of them are okay. One does skull spam and one does a lot of stats. Well, that was not the reception I was hoping for. You seem surprised. Indeed, my friend, indeed. The King of Thieves and I, we are great friends. Really? It is true. He rules this strange place, and we go way back. I did not know that. Wise, my friend, very wise. Let us see if we can find him. Very well. Off we go. We are looking for a very dark alley. The darker the better. Of course we are. Dark alleys are best kind, my friends. Why is that? There we will find a secret entrance. And it will lead us. It will lead us, my old companion. That's not right English. And it will lead us, it will lead us to my old companion, the King of Thieves. I forgot the word to. I see. Kitty. Yeah, there is like a random cat for this faction. Has the same Roshka type thingy. There's actually another Roshka rogue from the kingdom, which is why they might have done that. Or actually, never mind. What am I saying? There's not actually another Roshka. The other one's war gear. Because the kingdom epic for Leonis Empire is actually a war gear, not a Roshka. Hello, Mason. I've been doing pretty well. Also, hello, Drock. Hello, Toye. Hello, Lucy. Hello, Supplement. And hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. Yep, happy Friday. Finally Friday, finally end of the week. And here it is, one secret door. Not so secret anymore. True. They seem to know me, But do not worry, my friend. Why not? I am somewhat famous here. No doubt, they're simply jealous, no doubt. When we meet the King of Thieves, all that will change. I bet it will. We'll be attacked by him. Now, we must ever so quietly sneak past the tombs. The city was built on an old burial site. There's ancient, mirage magic here. I see. And the colorful characters here have been pillaging it for years. But once we are past them, the king's throne room awaits. Very well. Isn't that the good skull one? Pretty sure that's the good skull one. Yeah, it's the good skull one. It creates a bunch of skulls boosted by gold up to 14 maximum at a 13 mana cost. It's pretty easy for it to reach that gold cap. So basically, it gets to spam 14 skulls for 13 mana, which isn't that bad. It's probably the most useful thing from this faction. At least for upscaling into endgame. While the legend's going to be, while the legend's going to be a lot of fun to use, I don't think it's going to be viable later in the game. Earlier on in the game, it's going to be really broken. But later in the game, it's not going to be used for much. Hello, Carlo. Welcome. Also, I saw someone mention this on the forum. I thought they would have fixed it by now, though. Why is everything in this faction level 1? They are so weak. Ah, there you are. I thought I had lost you. What are you, what are you carrying? Oh, this? Nothing. Just some trinkets I found on the way. In the tombs? Why, yes. Now that you mention it, in the tombs. I see. It is funny. The number of trinkets you find in tombs, no? No. Ah, the throne room at last. What now? Now we respectfully greet the Majesty, King of Thieves, really? But if he seems in any way hostile, I have a suggestion. What's that? Grab as much treasure as you can and run. Here we go. Give us all the sacred treasures. Actually, we're about to be going and getting a bunch of treasure as soon as we kill this battle. I guess he's technically half right. Yeah, he gains a lot of stats based on how much gold you have. For every 5 gold, he gains 1 to all stats. With a base value of 3 automatically. Even if he had no gold somehow. And there's Rowan, kill him. There we go. Quick free Corsair EXP. I think that went rather well, my friend, but the king seemed pleased to see me again. No, he didn't. I also have a large sack of his gold and gems, so I see. How large? 20,000? 50,000? Give us all the gems. What do you say? We try to find them again, so I can return them. Really? You're not returning them. Okay, now that we got this, now it's time to go get our treasure from this place. We mainly want to see genie lamps and sacred treasure, and that's about it, because we should automatically get all the other troops from doing this. Nice, there's our first sacred treasure. Definitely want to see a lot more. So I should probably buy up the pack thingies too. Let's see. Well, we'll actually do this first. We could probably mythic them all based on what we currently have. And we have enough treasure that we don't really need to throw more at the moment. Even though we still need to go buy those pack thingies. The ones for the questline thing. Or, you know, for the faction. For the event. Because we obviously are going to be doing pure faction. Pure faction level 500. Not today, obviously, but we will be doing it this weekend. And working towards it today, just not going all the way. Any good units in the stealth? The epic is really decent or has a lot of potential, and the legend's okay. The legend is mostly going to be used in early game and mid game though. Later in the game, it's probably not. It's the amount of stats it gains is relative to your gold, so it's going to be due to that reason. It's going to be better earlier on in the game and worse later on in the game. And if you're at a high level, like 1,000 plus or something, it's probably never worth really using him. Just because you're already at a point where he's probably not going to be that useful. due to how few stats he gains relative to other things at the time. Or, you know, other things around you. He's definitely good earlier in mid-game. He just takes too long to get rolling later in the game. It's going to take like 2-3 casts before he does anything substantial. Good old Legends have that same exact issue. And troops in general. Where you just have so much startup that it's not worth it. Same reason why Ferrous Rod normally isn't used offensively and just for soul farming. Is it takes 2 to 3 turns before he even really gets operational with his souls. Especially if he's your only soul gainer. You have to cast him 3 times before he reaches his full potential. 2 times and the third one having the full potential. And any troop that has that issue tends to not be worth it. And he's the exact same way. Where you have to cast him twice and then the third one will start to kind of be decent. So much treasure. We didn't use any treasure from when we were opening a bunch on Tuesday either. So we should have a lot of sacred treasure. We should have like upwards of 20. Especially if we get a little bit luckier and get a few more like that. Perfect. Exactly what we want to see. Many of those and genie lamps as possible. Ideally every single time. Get lucky enough. Too bad we still can't upgrade treasures. Smaller ones into bigger ones. Maybe they'll eventually add the ability to do that. And we should have them all mythics, or at least that's the game plan. It's very likely. It normally takes around 8,000 or so to mythic all of them, and we are spending a little over 10,000 right now, and we can still spend plenty more. You could even buy the packs. Plus, we could just use the early faction stuff if we really had to. Or, you know, from the earlier battles with the loot we get from it. There's 3 points in which pure faction is worth doing if you're not doing 500. 100, 150, and 200. 100 is the absolute minimum that you should do, because that gives you an extra pet upgrade once you finally get all the other upgrades for everything else. But yeah, 100 is the bare minimum pure faction you should do. 150 is just slightly higher than that if you don't feel like you can be able to do 200, while still having a slightly higher than if it was 100. And 200, realistically, the highest you do that isn't pure faction, because anything beyond that just is too time consuming to bother. But yeah, 100 is the bare minimum pure faction you want to do. You should never do lower than that. But those are the main numbers, 100, 150, 200, and 500. And you don't do anything else kind of in between just because they're so difficult that you might as well just wait for pure faction. Like all these other mails I do want to save for a video later, so I don't actually want to take them yet. Just like half my mails for a video later. That was the revered gem key thing. I was like, wait, why did we get a gem key? It's like, oh yeah, duh, because of the revered. We have to get it 3 out of the 7 days. And there we go. Okay, next order of business. Let's go and upgrade. Oh, you know what? Maybe I might need to go take those, because we're going to have an issue with taking like a bunch of smaller treasure over and over again. Also, what's the flash offer right now? It's not anything good. That's weird. Why did they do the bad flash offer now? I guess it's a faction event. They never normally do a good one for faction events, do they? Yeah, that's not good at all. I would probably just pass on that one. Oh, before I forget, let me delay one of these. Okay. What a weird layout. Not a treasure room. Treasure room. Not a treasure room. Treasure room. Not a treasure room. If I had to guess based on this pattern, this is a treasure room. Treasure room. Not a treasure room. And boss room, obviously. Yeah, 3 guaranteed treasure rooms then? That's what people were saying earlier. That seems to be what it looks like. With 2 tier 5s? Yeah, maybe this is the best faction in the game. And you get to reach all of them from very first battle. The only really big issue with this is you have to scout a bunch, but not really that big a deal. But yeah, wow. That's probably the best faction in the entire game. So for Necropolis, sorry. You've been beaten. All that extra upgrade we don't need. Oh well, it's still a good faction. But yeah, it's better than Silver Necropolis now. Or Necropolis, however you say it. Though this one can still have 4 treasure room. And it still generally has those double tier 5s. As you can see, we have 3 treasure rooms here. Nope, we got 4. So, oh no, that's kind of a dilemma. Because while... I don't know which one's actually higher. Because this one tends to have 2 tier 5s as well. It's really close. Like, this normally has 2 tier 5s or something similar. But it also has the potential of 4 treasure room. Whereas I believe this delve that just came out only has a potential of 3 treasure rooms. Except those 3 are always guaranteed. Whereas this is 2 guarantees with 2 chances. Yeah, like you can see, the overall loot for this delve right here is actually more than the loot for the faction that we're about to do. So it's kind of a toss-up. I guess it's either or. They're both really good for it. Regardless, they're the best 2 factions in the game. So if you want to keep this at a low level, you might want to consider it. Because it is similarly as good, if not better, than Silver Necropolis. Or Necropolis, however you say it. They're both the best 2 factions in the game, hands down. Okay, what I'm looking for right now is, what am I looking for right now, actually? I am looking for Leonis Empire, so I can go upgrade these things. I guess technically Thieves would be easier. So let's go in here, upgrade that, upgrade that, upgrade that. Yeah, restriction is blue-brown. Which means we can run Truffle Team. Which is likely what I'm doing for the entire time. Because we can. And because it's just a decent team. Might want to use a different hero class other than Warden though, since we've already maxed out Warden at this point. Does this faction even level the delve? What do you mean by that? Does this faction even level the delve? Do you mean does this delve level the kingdom? And it does. I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Oh, do you mean the kingdom upgrade? Yes, if you upgrade the kingdom, you can get a higher Hoard, if that's what you're referring to. Though, oh yeah, I didn't even check Adventure Board. Did we finally get a thingy on it? I can go cover a video on it, finally? Or did we not get one? We still have not gotten one. We got some gems, though. What are they doing? We still haven't gotten one. Of course, it's, like, completely random if we do, but still. Weird. I want to cover a video on it already. We need to do one. I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten one. Anyways, what was it doing? Upgrade. Leonis Empire. Let's see. Where's our troops? City of Thieves. Nope, that's not where it is. Why did they put that as first? They should have just kept Kingdom as first. It's the one you need to use the most. Normally. Which is why it was first in the first place. And then they put the sorting thing in first, which people still use, but not as much. Anyways, there's all that, all maxed, obviously. And let's go get our stars. So 14 stars. Oh wait, are we blocked out of 15? What do we need for 15? We should be able to reach 15 or 16 stars. What do we need? Kingdom. Oh. Leonis Empire only has 1 pet. Leonis Empire only has 1 pet. It does not. Never mind. Wait. Oh, no it doesn't. We need to go get that pet. I forgot. We quite literally just got another pet today. It's the faction pet for the faction, which you need 2,000 renown for. So now we have another indirect requirement for a faction. You need to have 2,000 renown in order to 15-star Leonis Empire. Actually, I think 16-star requires it too, since, you know, I believe you can reach 16 stars right now. We just need to get the pet. But, yeah, we need to go get that pet. We'll probably have that by tomorrow. But, yeah, unless we get 2,000 renown for this faction, we will not be able to, because it's locked behind that. We don't need it maxed for 15 stars, but we do need the 1 copy of it. For 17, we'll need it maxed. But for 15, we just need, 15, 16, we just need 1 single copy of it. We get at 2,000, which is a lot easier to do than 2,500, that's for sure. Oh, also, we probably get another armor today. Because we should be able to reach that, most likely. Anyways, next order of business. Let's go do our treasure. I'm just going to completely skip the bags because they're a waste. Let's go get this thing to level 200. It's another cactus. Yeah, I think my game plan is throw rings to 50, throw chalices till we run out, throw crowns until we run out, throw genie lamps until we run out, and then throw sacred treasure for the rest. Oh, she said no deeds till next week. Oh, okay. Until everyone has 4.5. You're stuck with Pure Faction 500 with Hoard 150, 70 plus stats with potions. Is it that hard this time around? You should be able to cheese it just with skull spam. The Pure Faction for this faction should just be, Actually, what is Pure Faction for this faction? That's a good question. I believe it's just, the skull spam troop. Like 2 or 3 of it. With one other support. Because scroll spam is going to be the biggest thing you win with. And with enchant, you just be able to get them all up anyways, so it doesn't matter that they're mana blocking each other. Shouldn't the cactus be a pet for Drifting Sands? Yeah, I guess it would make more sense. Aren't all those cactus troops from Drifting Sands? Pretty sure they are. Pretty sure that's where they reside from. Yeah, they're both still Desert Kingdom, technically, though. But the actual physical cactuses were from, pretty sure they were from Drifting Sands. What is that one bounty cactus and that other one from? Isn't it from Drifting Sands? Pretty sure. They're relatively useless, so I kind of forget. But I'm pretty sure they're from Drifting Sands and not Leonis. Leonis is more of like a human rogue kind of a kingdom. Not a monster kingdom. Even though it does have monsters. As Manticore, as Corvash. It's just not as primary a monster kingdom as Drifting Sands is. Oh, so I didn't see how much gold we started with, but I could just double check the stream. I meant to before we started. Just to check how much gold we waste on this time around. Could be around 5 million or so. As long as we're over 10 million, we'll be fine. Here are the 3 musketeer cactuses. 3 amigos. Pretty much. I mean, we don't do these down to 0. Otherwise, we might burn through too much gold. But then again, we're burning through too much gold regardless. Alright, chalices are starting to get a lot less effective. That might be the last one we do. Let's see, what was 150 times 100 again? Oh, duh, it's 15,000. Let me check real quick. We got 4,900. We got 5,000. And then we have, what's 500 times that? Yeah, we have enough. I can just start using the treasures now. Exact combination, I'm not sure, but we do have enough of these lower treasures to do it. So we will. Unless I miscalculated. But, no, we should have enough. It'll barely be enough, but it'll be enough. Actually, you know what? It might not be enough. I might have underestimated the thingy thing. Wait, hold up. Yeah, I think I might have been a couple hundred off. It's either almost exact or like a couple hundred off. We should have done chalices like 1 or 2 more times. Also, if I'm saving any of my treasure, it's definitely going to be several hundred off. So yeah, that might have been a mistake then. Or we can just go down to 0 treasure. We can always go get more treasure too. Like, it's not like this treasure is all of our treasure. We can go get more. We're going to be buying the packs, then we're going to be doing some of them. I'm going to go get a little bit more. So we could do like another 5 set of crown. Yeah, let me go buy the packs that we need. I'm trying to think of how many we might need if we do every single room. I believe we only need tier 3. I actually forget the exact number. Assuming we do every Valraven. I believe it's around tier 3. I mean, it's up to tier 7, but you buy tier 7 3 times is what I mean by tier 3. It is a pretty good layout for resources though, so going a little bit overkill wouldn't really matter though. Also, what's this weapon? Deals damage to an last enemy. If the enemy uses yellow, deal triple damage and conjure a dark storm. That has potential. That's a really good yellow guild war weapon. Counter out yellows. That has some potential. Also, it's a mythic weapon, so it probably has a bunch of decent perks. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. It's legendary rarity. I forgot. Yeah, all the ones from these factions are always legends, not mythic. Which is almost a good thing because that means they cover 2 colors. Yep, there's the crown I needed. A loot bag. We got ourselves a money bag. And I believe we buy this 3 times. Up, got a genie lamp, nice. And 3rd time. I don't think we need to go any further than that. I don't know, did we go further? I think that's fine. What does that come out to cost-wise? That should be, what was that? 17,010? Numbers around there. Oh, I'm trying to think of how much free is now. Why do I forget all of a sudden? Yeah, it was either 17,010 or 1,910. It's like one of those two. But anyways. Tier 3, that should be fine. I'm trying to think, like, calculating it out. Let me see, how many things do we have? We have 24, but we have another 3 tomorrow, another 3 on Sunday, so we actually have 30 right now. I believe 30 is enough to go all the way, because if you're doing every room, that means you have to get, what, 9 Valravens? I think within 30 we can get 9 Valravens if we do every room. I guess I could maybe buy 1 more pack just for leeway. But if we're doing every single room, which we definitely will be for this faction, it should be enough because we have 30 battles right now, technically. Because of course you get more battles for the weekend event since it's per day thing. You have 3 days, getting 3 battles for each. So that should be able to reach it. Anyways, okay, that should be fine. Let's go do the rest of our upgrading now that we have our treasure. Also, let me go use all this as well, in case we can pick up some other good treasure. Just save us a little bit of gold. Nice, sacred treasure, exactly what we want to see. And let's throw down 2 more. There you go. That's that. So, next order of business. Throw these 5. Oh, there's the math on it. 700, 900, 100, let's see, 900... 110 or 1010, I mean. Wait, wow, I just did math really weirdly. Let's see. 600,000, 1,300. Well, let's just say 1,000 there. 300. 500. It's this last one's. It's, yeah, I was right the first time. 1,710. The first number I said was correct. Okay. I was just second guessing it because it's still early in the morning. But yeah, the first number I said was correct. When it says 1,710. It just seems a bit low. That's actually pretty cheap for a pure faction. Especially since that might leaderboard some of it back. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. Let's see, how do I go about this? Should I go right into Sacred? Well, I guess if we overdo it some, it doesn't matter. Because this is a pretty good faction. Same as how we overdid Silver Necropolis, it probably wouldn't matter. That'd be funny if this actually goes exact. In 2 more sets. Probably not, though. So close! No! It's 100 EXP off, really? Oh, I guess we'll just throw one single crown at it and get it exact. That's an expensive crown. Oh, I should have... why did I do it that way? I should have threw the crown first. Now it's going to cost a little bit more gold. It's not that big a deal, though. But, just saved like 1,000, 2,000 gold or so. But, yeah, we'll have to waste 40,400 gold to put one in. Oh, there we go. Exactly 200. Boop. Oh, wait, why did I do it with a crown? Oh, yeah, duh, because never mind. It's per cost. I was going to say, why didn't I just use, like, smaller treasure? But, yeah, duh, that's why I didn't use smaller treasure. Ha! Because, yeah, that would have cost a lot right there. But there we go. Exactly 200. I'll just keep it there for now. Keep the rest of our sacred treasure for a upcoming faction of some kind. But, yeah, there we go. All of our upgrades that we need. Now we have like 1.5 billion of these. Okay, I'm just going to claim all. For the video, we'll just go and do it again for some other kingdom. Because, gosh, it's going to take too many clicks if we keep doing that. Plus, we have to keep doing it every single time we go for one of them. Oh, good thing I didn't take the message. Whoops. Luckily, the messages are underneath a different category. Okay, anyways. Next order of business. Let's go grab, none of that. Let's go do the faction. We already got all of our things upgraded. And now we can start doing the stove. And as far as what we use for the stove, I am just going to be using truffle. It's brown-blue restriction, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, we can run with truffle team. There is nothing against it for this. Where's my truffle? Grab that, grab that. Probably change our hero classes for the sake of free XP. Also, before I get into it, let me do, I should probably be doing my 3 daily factions here, since it's such a good place for it, and we already have it at such a low level. So we're actually going to start by doing the normal factions before we go into it. We'll do 2 of them, and then we'll delay the other. But, yeah, I do need to go and do this faction real quick. And for that, yeah, I guess we'll keep this with this team. And we'll just change hero class to literally anything that we haven't finished. I don't know, what's the best thing that we haven't finished yet that would actually synergize with this? Do any of these have a brown storm or a green storm that we haven't already finished? Poor Seer doesn't. So it is probably the main one I'm trying to get leveled, so I think I just do this for the sake of doing it. It actually has no storm whatsoever. We could always use a different team though too for this specific thing. So what was it again? Oh, sorry, it's not brown blue restriction, it's blue purple. But you still have blue, so you can still get away with the truffle team thingy. But what I'm looking for is and also you can still use any weapon. But I'm just trying to figure out what quick kill we want for this, like something that can one-shot the entire enemy team. Let's see. What is enough damage for that underneath those colors? I guess a Queen Titania team. And just Leprechaun into it immediately. Like Leprechaun, Queen T. Any red. So what's a good red mana generator? Any reds that create, or any, blues that create red. Wait, why did I take red as the color? Oh yeah, duh, because I need it for her damage. Ice Goblin wouldn't be horrible. Maybe we do go Ice Goblin. You don't have Arcane though, do you? No. Has Sunbird. No. Cog, Rowan, Leprechaun, Leprechaun. Oh! Yeah, we can't get away with Rowan, can't we? Is that too much damage? Or is that not enough damage, though, for some battles? I'm not sure if we would want to split like that. How big is that split without Cog or any kind of buff? It's like 100-something damage. Queen Titania will be able to get 30-something out of each. Which I believe will be enough to pop each of them with one shot because of how low the stats should be for this area. Should be enough. Let me just go Ice Goblin. Yeah, that should be enough damage. And we won't have enchant or anything for this either. So yeah, then Ice Goblin and just run hero with like any red. Like Dawnbringer. Oh, why don't we just run Dawnbringer then? Dawnbringer and like one other thing. Yeah, that works too. This is a backup damage in case it's not enough for the other AoE. And then we could even just go a second Leprechaun at that point if we really want to. But what's a good brown-red? Oh, wait, never mind. We can't use brown-red. Well, we could use a brown-red-purple. I click all colors, actually. No, Fair Shra wouldn't work for this. And obviously, Fallen Valdis is useless. Yeah, I guess we might just go second Leprechaun then. Seems like the way to go. Just double exploded at start. Why is Leprechaun not coming up? Hello? Oh, because I have all colors. Whoops. That's why. Okay. And now we just change our banner to one the minus brown was. That seems correct. Okay, that should be fine. Okay. And now we take this for the first two sets. See you, Mason. Have a good time. Have a good weekend. Okay, this should be able to take out the first two set of battles. We're not using this the entire time, obviously. I'm just running through the faction real quick for free loot. Yeah, this faction has the best, one of the best loots of any faction in the game, if not the best. It's definitely top two, hands down. It's a toss-up between Silver Necropolis and this now. A lot of scouting, though. Since we have infinite choices right off the bat. I am going to be using the Truffle team. I'm just doing this for the quick first battles. Because we're just doing the first two sets of the faction to get our free battles out of the way. Our daily battles. Just for the higher loot. And I deliberately did that 1.25 before the 1.3 just because this 1.3 is a treasure room. Oh, he just denied my color. That's not nice. I needed that. Oh, Submerge. That might be an issue with this team. That would have been an issue with Rowan as well, though. The struggle of using a hero class that doesn't have Dispel. There we go. Yeah, take this and then take the 2 treasure rooms in multiplier order, and be good to go. Yeah, Cedric rooms do appear here. They should. They have 3 different treasure rooms, so this should eventually be Cedric's. We just didn't get one here. Can you actually get away with Key Team, though? You'd have to use a bit of a weird version of it since it's a blue-purple restriction. Because you can't use things like Egg Thief in a Key Team, which is one of the main components that it utilizes in order to work. But there's more gold teams than just Key Team, though. This is one of the main ones. Yeah, this delve does have the benefit of every single loot room is the second room of the delve, which is really powerful. These submerges are very annoying though, and they keep getting every single time they cast. With that one perk they have. That they got one from one of these rooms. Greed, Bronze Lock, Bonnie. Yeah, Bronze Lock team would work here. You can just spam that out. It depends what level range you're at though. Bronze Lock does eventually start going too slow. Which is why you eventually switch to Key. Yeah, pretty good loot to say the least. Gonna be the main thing that this kingdom's used for. Because it's very high loot rooms. Best delve in the game, essentially, now. That and Silver Necropolis. There we go, one down. Take another one forward, and then we delay the other one on 40. For later on. What weapon do you use if you don't have Dawnbringer? Well, I'm just running this for the early battles. This isn't the actual team I'm using. I'm just running it for a quick kill at the current moment in time. We're going to be switching to Truffle Team as our main team for all of this. This is just a temporary fix for now until we get to that point. Or, you know, just as a quick kill option. Though you could just go double Queen to Tanya. Or something similar. Any high AoE damage is what you would want to put there. Doesn't have to be Dawnbringer, just Dawnbringer works best in this situation. And the plan is just to double cast both of them once, and then we win. Unless he revives like that. I should just went for that skull, why didn't I? Oh well. Let's get our explosion going. And he's dead. Yeah, Orbo Winter could fit there if you want. Especially if you're using Corsair hero class. Feed a lot of blues into it. Orbo Winter is pretty much the alternative Dawnbringer for when you don't have Dawnbringer. The only issue with it is it only covers one color, and it's really dependent on freeze. I'm using this team so we can like double cast win, and they keep reviving. But the same issue would happen if we use Ruane though as well. It's not gonna. Neither of them are gonna stop the revives. Also, one other pretty nice thing about this delve is you can one room the final, and it has 2 different options for it. So you just do the initial room that you have to do, then the one in between room, and then right into the boss. The whole team is based on the class he's using? No, not exactly. This team is not necessarily based on the class we're using. The team is based on instant killing as quickly as possible and then moving on. Alright, we take this one, take the 2 treasure rooms, and then we take the final room there. Yeah, we're not using this team after we finish this battle. After we finish the current delve we're doing right now, we are not using this team anymore. The only reason I'm specifically using it is for these really early battles. So I guess technically we could for the first 2 of the, for when we start doing the actual faction. But beyond that point, I'm switching to a real team. This is more so just a quick kill the really low level area. And because free Core 0 XP. We'd be using Core 0 regardless of our team though. Just to get it leveled some. At least until we reach the later delves when it becomes too annoying to use Core 0. As you saw there, we got to 75, so do want to level it slowly. But the Legendary is not horrifically bad. It's more so like an early mid-game kind of troop. You wouldn't use it later in the game. The higher your level and the further into the game you use it, the less effective it's going to be because of how it scales. Did I already upgrade the Hoard to level 200? Yes, that was one of the first things we did this stream. That is correct. How much did it cost? Oh yeah, I did forget to double check that. Thanks for reminding me. I actually did not check how much it cost. Let's see. I'd have to go back into stream to check. Luckily, we have the thing on YouTube that allows us to do so. When did I stop throwing treasure at it? Right there. Let's see, how much did it cost? We went down to 11,000. Let me run down that number. It's 11,560. 123. That's funny. 123. Let's see, 11,500, or 11,500,000, yeah, 11,560,123. That's how much we ended with. And how much did we start with? We started with, when did we start spamming it? We started with 15,000. I get calculator time. 15,000 or 15 million, I mean. 295,023. Subtracted by 11,000 or 11 million. Why do I keep saying 1,000? 560,000. 123. Oops, I did not mean to click. Ah, let's try it again. 15,000. 295,023 subtract 11,560,000 123. We spent 3,734,900 gold, which wasn't too bad, but we used a lot of really big treasure on it. It cost us a little under 4 million, you can say, but it was 3 and 3/4 million. Yeah, 3,750,000. You could basically say is essentially how much it was for us to go from 0 to 200. I know that's not that bad at all. It can cost upwards of like almost 5 million sometimes, depending on what treasure route you do for it. We did a pretty efficient treasure route this time though, mainly because we had more treasure than normal, because I didn't use any for that one event. I was going to on Tuesday, but we didn't have enough to upgrade it. And good thing we didn't, because it made doing this a lot cheaper. By like an extra million or so. Or, you know, a little extra million less in cost. So it ended up saving us that much. Okay, this is the last battle that we have to do that's not related to the event, and then we just go delay the other one until we want to do it later. Bye, Drock. Have a good time. Catch you later. Yeah, I've been needing to exercise more. I finally got that thing off my chest, and it's finally almost fully healed. And after that, I should be able to do it a lot more. It's actually one of the reasons why I ended up gaining weight over the last few years, too. Was that thing on the chest that I finally got removed. Because it was positioned at a really weird location where any arm movement would have, it just really, it kept agitating it, any kind of, like, a lot of arm movement over a long duration of time. That's finally been removed as of, like, a couple months ago. Ended up finally getting some really minor surgery to get that done. Yep, also we got to the level 10 chest. First level 10 chest of the day. I still have like a little bit of a scar there. That's pretty much healed by now, for the most part. There we go. That's all we have to do for non-event stuff. And now we can go do the actual events. I just wanted to get those out of the way just so we have some really easy, quick delves. Plus, it's better loot than Warren, so might as well for our free daily ones. But yeah, this faction's really good to keep at level 20. If you were to keep anything at level 20, this is like the faction to do it in. The only problem with that is it makes it so you can't do the Tuesday events, and it means you also can't do this current event. But, yeah, this delve at level 20 is really solid. Also, why is it not loading? I clicked back. There it goes. Okay. Next thing. Mail. Grab those. Claim all. Get a bunch of shards. That we don't need to do now. Let's go and head actually into the faction now. The faction event. Oh, yeah, we don't have a team set for this, do we? Do we grab the other one? I guess we grab the other one and just use it for the first two, and then we switch over to a real team. But, yeah, you know what? Let me go grab it real quick. We already have it set up. Just go copy-paste this. Copy that. Boom, boom. Already using it. We already know it works. Use this for the first two, and then switch to a truffle team for the rest. And just truffle everything down. And the only reason we're not using truffle here is this would be slightly quicker. You only got an alert on YouTube on your phone that you're streaming. Nice timing. Oh yeah, YouTube. Well, the reason why it might not have done one this time around is at the beginning of the stream, YouTube, for whatever reason, defaulted it to unlisted. That might have caused an issue with the notification going out. I hate when they do that. I didn't change a single setting whatsoever, but occasionally it just randomly makes the stream unlisted. I used to think it was because whenever a stream gets demonetized that it kind of does that. But my stream last night didn't get demonetized or anything. I don't think it did. Let me go double check. If so, then that might be what it's actually basing it off of. I don't believe it does. Last I checked, it was still monetized completely. Like, normally they do, like, those partial demonetizations where it's not actually, like, demonetized, but it's so demonetized that it's basically demonetized. The last I recall, it still had full monetization. Yeah, it does. Didn't get marked at all. Actually, almost none of my videos do. Actually, I shouldn't say that. The Monday event video from 2 weeks ago got demonetized for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Not completely demonetized, but like that partial demonetization. Where it says like limited or no ads, which basically means no ads. it probably makes like almost nothing. If I look at the statistics, it goes down a lot. I should probably request a review for it. Why have I not yet? Probably because it makes very little difference. It's probably only going to get like another 100 views. If it was like a guide video, it'd matter more. Request manual review. Yes. Confirm. Submit for review. That whole review process is kind of pointless though, because by the time they actually get it processed and reviewed and everything, you've already lost like 90% of the money you're going to make on the video, if not more. But we'll go do that because why not? Yeah, that's the only thing that's got demonetized in the last like month is the event video from 2 Mondays ago. Not this most recent Monday, but the previous one. The one where Trickster Shot was available. It was like my only demonetized video in the last month. I don't know why it got demonetized though. Like, what's different in that video? I do not understand at all. Anyways. Let's go and, what do we need here? So we got two 1.3s. So that looks like the way we're moving into them. Yeah, we'll take those two and then we take the 1.25s. I must have said a word that YouTube thought was bad. Well, it was the Glitter Claw event. Maybe Glitter Claw is bad. I don't know. I never say anything bad. It's really weird with how it picks up on stuff like that. Because it's really selective when it decides it wants to pick up on something. Like, you have no way of knowing, like, what on earth you did either. Yeah, it could have been banned because of that. I actually had to stop saying the cockatrice for a while, because whenever I did, if I put too much emphasis on the first part of that word, it will demonetize the video. Because of what it sounds like. Even though it's a creature that is pretty common in various RPGs. Hello, Haley! Welcome! What's the traits for the new weapon? Oh yeah, I never did check. I don't believe it was anything good. I can go double check. If it has extra turn, it's gonna actually be insanely solid. But I don't think they gave it that. Let me go double check for any of you that are curious. How do I find it easily? Be the easiest way to do it. Probably go to City of Thieves. Never mind. Let's go to Leonis Empire then. There it is, Night Dagger. What does it get? Bleed first enemy, deal 5 damage to last enemy, steal 2 mana from first enemy, and reduce a random skill on first enemy by 2. The only particularly good thing it does is steal 2 mana from first enemy. Though I guess that extra 5 damage to last enemy can stack with the fact that it's also dealing damage to last enemy. However, that 5 does not get multiplied by the 3. It's just a 5 damage. Even if you're yellow, it'll still only do 5 damage. That's hitting the same thing that the dagger's primarily hitting. But yeah, this has potential. If you use it with a yellow hero class, it's 37 damage this late in the game. Approximately, give or take a little bit, depending on, you know, factors of what you're using. Yeah, 37 damage. Tripled in yellow Guild Ward A. That's not too bad. That's what? That's a 111 damage? No. Yeah, 111 damage. Yeah, 111 damage is what that comes out to. Which isn't that bad. Technically 116 because you add 5 to it. So 116 damage potentially to your last slot. And that's on top of whatever guild bonuses you have too. Yeah, that could potentially be okay for Yellow Guild War Defend. Oh, did we actually have Yellow Guild War yet this week? Wait, isn't Yellow today? Or did we already have it? Hold up. When's Yellow Guild War? It is today. That works. We might need to mess with that later tonight then. Oh, well then again, it's kind of too late to switch our defend team though. No, fail. Oh, we kind of already have a decent yellow day defend. But yeah, duh, never mind. You can't use it for defend today. You can't use it till next Guild War. Even though today is Yellow Guild War, you wouldn't have been able to have this weapon prior to your Yellow Guild War team being locked in for today. So, yeah, you can't actually change it, unfortunately. Never mind. Okay, next thing. Let's go and head over to the event. Go from there. That's not what I want. Where's the event thingy? Event thingy. There we go. Okay, what room are we on? Not that. That is a Cedric room. If we were using a gold team, that would actually be pretty decent with it. But we're not, so we're not. Okay, so we'll take this, and just kind of make a circle then after we do this room. Yeah, you can sort by upgrade, but we have a lot of weapons that aren't upgraded. But then again, never mind. Yeah, no, never mind. We still do. Because there's a lot of epic weapons I don't have upgraded still. You don't normally sort by weapon. Or when you're doing weapons, you generally don't sort by upgrade. If you're doing troops, you can. But a lot of people generally have a lot of weapons not maxed. More often than not the epic ones. So it spams it with a bunch of stuff that you don't need. And there's no way to like double search. Like you can't search by rarity and by upgrade simultaneously, unfortunately. Yeah, okay. Take this, take the final room, take one more room, and then we can finally switch to Truffle. And just use Truffle for the rest of the faction, the rest of the time. And run it all the way to the end. Yeah, this troop is an interesting troop. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be good for much. Because you could gain 23 to all stats without a Cedric. 43 to all stats with a Cedric. And he does that per cast. To all stats. He has that weird trait where he regains gold whenever he gets damaged, though, which is pretty useless. If they would have given him a better unique trait, he might actually be viable. They gave him a really bad unique trait. Because on the kind of teams he'd be used on, he's most likely going to be gaining max gold automatically anyways. So a little bit weird that they gave him a gold trait for his final trait. One that specifically gains gold, and not even in a good way either, just when he takes damage. Like, if it was actually a good one where he could max out gold without needing another troop, then that would have been nice. However, yeah, it's not really good to only gain gold when you get damaged. That's not going to help much. Oh, so that's weird. We got Valraven on the very first delve again. Same thing happened last Tuesday event. Where the first delve gave us a Valraven. And in doing so, it gave us more sigils than what we even started with, technically. We just started with 24, and now we're right back at 24, even though this is the second delve we're doing. Because it gave us back our 2 sigils. Are there any epic weapons worth upgrading to use? Not really. The best epic weapon is one that most people don't have. It's Prey Seeker. And it death marks all enemies as well as does true damage if they're death marked. There's really good synergy with it, mainly because it doesn't do enough true damage. Its damage output is relatively low because it's still a dated weapon. All those 5-hour weapon thingies are dated weapons. But no, there's like no epic weapons that are really worth doing for the most part. They're all very underwhelming. Hey, I stream went down for a second. My bad. We're back now though. So we'll probably hand out a redeem code once we hit the middle orb, which I believe is stage 8. So once we reach stage 8, we'll hand out a redeem code. Alright, what do we need now? So the scouting order is generally going to be check tier 5, check tier 5, check that room, and then figure out what you want to do for the other 3. Unless you're looking for Cedric, in which case check all the 2s as well, because you're going to need it for Cedric chance. Not sure if any of these treasure rooms could be tier 5 treasure rooms though. The ones that have those 1.4 multipliers. Because those could theoretically be worth scouting out, but you'd be able to easily tell if it says tier 5 or not. Like, that's something you kind of already know. Similar to how if you see tier 2, you could check if it's Cedric or not. But if you don't see any tier 2s like this faction, you don't need to check because it can't be Cedric. Now, with the team we're currently using, we don't need to switch to Cedric, though. And I don't think I'm going to be switching to Cedric at all, or similar teams, just to be able to take, or, you know, I won't be switching to gold teams just to take Cedric rooms. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should have been taking those Cedric rooms a little bit earlier, though, like in the previous one. I forgot. We are using Leprechauns right now. They were, in a way, gaining most of that benefit from it. What kingdom is linked to City of Thieves? Leonis Empire is linked to it. What's a team suggestion if you don't have Dawnbringer? Oh, Truffle. We're just running Truffle team. I'm just running this for the earlier battles for the first 2 sets just because it's quicker than running Truffle. But I'm just running Truffle the whole time, which is going to be Forest Troll, Double Truffle, and Hero Class. I'll initially be running it with Corsair, though I will switch it to a proper Hero Class later, which is either Titan or Warden, both of which I already have maxed, though. So we'll be using Corsair most of the time, but those are the ones that you'd actually use with it. Is either Titan or Warden. I do want to try getting this Corsair Hero Class max before next Guild War. And I will be testing on Blue Guild War Day tomorrow. Yeah, Forest Troll is blue. So you can still use it. If any delve uses blue, you can use the full Truffle team. because that's the only color that it requires. The only time when you can use it when it's not blue as an option is when it's, oh wow, 4.4 multiplier. But the only time you can use it when blue is not an option is if the colors of the faction are brown and green. But anytime a faction says blue, you can run the Truffle team. And with that being said, let's go get Truffle team now. That we've got past those super easy ones. And now we just run Truffle all the way to 500. Oh, what am I doing? I could just copy paste the team. I don't need to go and do anything like that. Grab this. Copy. Switch to hero class when we put it in, though. New faction assault. Fights. Also, why is that off center? I guess because you're not going to be in the middle of the water. But that really is going to bother me. The fact that that's off center. I know that's deliberate, because why would you be in the middle of the water, but still. Well, it must be shallow water. Still. That's weird. But anyways. Let me go paste this team in there. Manage, paste. And I guess we'll just go, what's it called? Corsair? I don't think we can change anything to really make it much better on this team. Not really. Freeze, immune to freeze. Some extra gold because why not? Eyes gaining some life. Some submerge just as backup. And some extra blue mana for our first slot. Sounds like a plan. Okay, that's okay. All of it's kind of useless to us except for that +1 blue. But we don't really have a choice because I need to level it. We have potion effects and everything, so the fact that we don't have like green storm and stuff shouldn't be too big a deal. It slightly hinders our loop, but it shouldn't affect much. Already fails loop. It affects everything. And they still die in one shot because we're still in earlier delves. .3, 1.3, 1.2, and a 1.15. Oh, wait, we have a 1.4, though, technically. We already know, because this room can only be a 1.4 if it's tier 5. I don't know, did we go for it first? It has a lot of treasure on it. I guess we take the 2 tier 1.3s first, and then we take the 1.4, and then we take into everything else. Just to maximize the amount of gold we get from it, while still using it for its multiplier for the other rooms. You're going for faction? Yes, we're doing pure faction 500 this weekend. Again. We're going to be doing it like 3 times in a week. We did it last Tuesday. We're doing it this weekend for this faction. And there's a good chance I'm doing it for Hall of Guardians next Tuesday. I haven't 100% confirmed if I will be. There's a possibility I won't. But, yeah, we might just do it. I don't know. I'm kind of... I might get a little bit burnt out of factions, though, if we do that many pure factions. Doing that again for like 7 hours on a given day. Though we could always just start rushing them a bit earlier. So that it only takes like 3 or 4 hours. So it's not as long. Which might be the route I go for. Regardless, it'll cost us like 2,500 gems or somewhere around there. Which is the only big concern with it. Because what's our gem value right now? Where's M stack at? It's not that bad. Still above 25,000 by a decent margin, too. We're going to get some extra from Guild Wars. The only reason why that's actually high is because we didn't have to spend any on a Tuesday event. Because it's Guild Wars, so it only costs like 25 gems or so. Unless you want to go a bit further. It's not as expensive some as the other ones. What's a good pure faction team? I haven't actually tried messing with pure faction yet as far as delving up a team for it. But I believe the way to go is you just spam the skull spam troop multiple times. So much so it might even just be the entire team. Because as far as City of Thieves is concerned, we don't really have that many options for upscaling. You're not going to be good at really high level ranges. You're only good at like similar level range or lower. You don't really do anything other than like a little extra turn poke. And it's very rarely going to be getting kills at how high the stats are. And this steals all enemy gold. So this could potentially be useful just so the enemy doesn't have gold. But that'd be the only thing it's used for. Is just to deny the enemy's gold. So really, the only option you have is Tome Robber, where you skull spam into skull spam into skull spam into skull spam. You basically just wait 7 turns, and then you skull spam 4 times. And she has 20% dodge. Actually, I think everything here has 20% dodge for the most part. Actually, everything except him. No, actually only those 2. But, yeah, the team is most likely like Street Thief with triple Tome Robber, or just quad Tome Robber. Like many factions, you basically just spam the most overpowered troop from the faction. And that is the case this time around. Is just Tome Robbers everywhere. And just skull spam them to death once you've gotten your gold capacity, which shouldn't take too long. With Extreme Greed, you take like 2 extra turns, you're already at your gold capacity. It's not going to take that long at all to reach. Okay, so we take that, and then we hit to find a room. Sounds like a plan. I'm pretty sure you can get away with just quad skull spam and win it that way. They do have 2 things with 20% dodge though, which is going to be ultra annoying. But you also have 25% score reduction technically because of the you know, because of the potion effect. Not sure why I forgot the word potion all of a sudden. Yeah, I'll grab that, take that to full, throw a double. And almost good to go. Just gotta grab a little bit more of our greens that we need. Gets all the way to full, and he's dead. Feels so weird using this without a green storm. While slightly slower, we do gain 2 XP per battle, which makes it worth it for our class. Helps speed up the rate at which we'll eventually get this thing maxed. And reduces down the time total that we have to max out all hero classes. We're getting somewhat close to maxing all hero classes. It's inching ever so slightly closer. Alright, we have nothing that can kill right now, so let's take some mana randomly. And then just double poke it. You finally got Salty's attention by poking Kafka to poke Salty. That's funny. Just because it's normally Kafka's role to do Salty's role when Salty isn't around. So it's normally pretty easy to contact her as well for those kind of things. Yeah, Leprechaun Leaf Storm would definitely help speed things up. The only problem is I can't use Leaf Storm. If I use Leaf Storm, we don't gain class XP. Because I've currently maxed everything that has Leaf Storm. Every single hero class that has it, I have level 100 already. So if I want to gain class XP, I have to use something that does not have Leaf Storm. I believe we even maxed out all the Brown Storms as well. The worst comes to worst, we could switch to something like that if we haven't already. I'm trying to think of what has it that we haven't upgraded. I think Death Knight? Have we maxed out Death Knight? I can't remember if I maxed it or not. It's either around like plus 70 or it's maxed. See, what ones have we not maxed? Go double check real quick. Oh, we can check it on this menu, I guess. Okay, so what have we currently not classed? Corsair doesn't have it. Dervish has Brownstorm. So we could do Dervish. What else do we have? Hierophant, I'm pretty sure does not have either. Nope, does not have either. Actually, I don't even think it has any Storm. Knight probably has neither. Knight is like the worst hero class in the game. Really need to buff it. Oracle, pretty sure doesn't have either. Nope. And that just leaves nothing? There's one over here. War Priest, wherever that is. There it is. And that has none of them. Okay. So I guess if we did want to use a Storm, that's actually correct for this team, or at least somewhat correct. We could use Dervish for Brownstorm. Well, we might switch that a little bit later. Doesn't really gain much of a benefit from being maxed, though. I guess that's the elemental thing, which synergizes with some things from the kingdom. Unfortunately, it itself is not elemental. It's considered a monster. We still don't have any elemental hero class. I'd much rather put it into Corsair than in Dervish, because we're never really going to use Dervish, whereas Corsair is actually useful for some things, particularly Blue Guild War. Also, while we're here, how many hero classes do we still have left? One... I think it's 6, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I was right. 6 hero classes left. Unless I miscounted. Let me double check. 1. Yeah, it's actually starting to get a really small number now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 hero classes. We're almost there. And of those 6 hero classes, they're pretty much all halfway there, with the exception of Oracle and War Priest. But the other 4 are already more than halfway there. Which means, in reality, we only have, like, 3 hero classes. 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it. Since 4 are halfway there, that's only, like, 2. If we count the other 2 as a full 2, that's only 4. Even though we technically have 6. Which means our grind time is around 100 hours then. If we want to go and max all of them. So that's with proper methods. Seems like we've kind of been like just staying at that area. And the main reason is we would have been closer. But I didn't throw any gems at the most recent event. In order to save them for doing a bunch of pure factions. Which we have been doing obviously. We did it on Tuesday. We did it today. And we're doing it again probably on next Tuesday possibly. But now that once we get these out the way, we won't necessarily need to save these for pure faction. We'll still need them for like next month's faction. But other than that, we won't really need it. And I believe by the end of this year, we should definitely have like all hero classes max. Should be pretty close. If not all the way. Oh, what was your question, GJ? How have you been? I've been doing pretty good. There is an achievement in Steam which says fight an epic fight. Do you have to fight? Do you know how to achieve it? All you have to do is go to any game mode that has sigils other than delves, and then go and use an extra sigil in order to get extra bonus stats, and then just win the battle. Should be pretty easy since you have more stats than normal. The most recent event that you could have done it on was yesterday. However, I even mentioned it. Someone else asked about it yesterday as well. But, yeah, yesterday was the most recent time you could do it. However, you'll be able to do it again next Monday for the raid event, or is it invasions? Invasions. For the invasion event next week, you'll be able to just click on the little middle difficulty thing, click the epic fight, and then just do the epic fight. It'll cost you 1 sigil extra, unless it's your first time ever doing it, in which case it will be free. But yeah, you just click that and just complete out the battle. And it should be even easier because you have 50% higher stats than normal. So just a normal invasion fight, just with 50% extra stats for yourself. So even easier. See you, Key Lime. Have a good time. Good luck murdering the bandits. Yeah, we got a lot of bandits to go kill. Poor bandits. Oh no, I said the word kill. Well, YouTube demonetized me now. YouTube. Let's see. We'll go and throw that down. Get a double. Let's see. Which ones do we need here? We got a 1.3, but it's a treasure room 1.3. So we take that, and then take the final battle. I guess most likely. I don't think it has in the past. I'm not sure though, because I don't normally use the word. One nice thing about live streaming as well is normally I've never seen a live stream get demonetized as is live streaming. So that's kind of like one nice thing about it. Like, unless your channel gets striked or something which prevents you from live streaming, you can always monetize on live streaming unless you get striked. But there's a difference between getting like partially demonetized and strike. Like, whenever I say I get demonetized, I don't mean strikes. I just mean like the video's like almost completely demonetized or mostly demonetized. It's not actually a strike on the video. But yeah, unless you actually get a strike, your streams are always perpetually, at least for the duration of the stream, monetized. That's kind of convenient in that regard. Because it never does like a midway kind of like demonetization. Like if you upload a video, it could start monetized and then within like minutes or hours get demonetized. But for streams, that doesn't seem to ever happen. It might get demonetized after it gets uploaded, but during the duration of the stream, it never seems to get demonetized for whatever reason. I guess because they don't check streams or something. Let's see. Let's take that. Hey, he's dead. Is this best? I'm not sure who has definitive data on which one's actually better, but it's probably this one. You'd have to know every single drop rate for every single thing to know exactly which one's better. But this one is probably ever so slightly better than Silver Necropolis, or Necropolis, however you say it. So yeah, if you don't have a daily farming faction, it is highly advised to keep this faction at like level 20 or at level 110, or you know, that's something low. I won't be doing that just because we already have a faction designated for that purpose. However, yeah, if you don't already have one, it would definitely be worth doing, because Warren's is now the third best. It's no longer second anymore, now that this is either first or second. Yeah, Gob Truffle makes delves super, super easy. Too bad we can't use Gob Truffle properly in Warren's. I guess we technically could. We just can't use Farce Troll with it, which is the biggest problem with it. Maybe I'll make a non-Farce Troll version of it for it. I haven't tried doing that yet for Warren's. What's the yellow troop that feeds into it? Isn't there like a yellow that could empower into him? There might be. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what that might be. A yellow that empowers into Farce Troll. I mean, that empowers into blue or green, I mean. My bad. There has to be one. But how many options there are? I'm pretty sure there's one. Can't think of one off the top of my head. A yellow troop that empowers into green or blue. Preferably green. I'm curious. I need to go check. I feel like that doesn't exist. There's a lot of combinations. Let me check. And empower that yellow that feeds into blue or green. Oh! Scurvy Sea Dog. I don't need to check. I just remembered. Scurvy Sea Dog would do it. It's a yellow-red that empowers into blue. Green to blue. Oh, it denies green, though. Is the only problem with that. Yeah, Scurvy Sea Dog would work. I don't need to go check it. Right as I'm about to check, I remember. Fail. Okay, anyways, let's go do faction again. I guess we'll take our PvP thing real quick. We don't have to, but the fact it's flashing is annoying me. Oh, wow, that's a lot of battles. Has it been flashing this whole time? That was a lot of battles. That was like 54 battles. That is not a small amount. I don't recall it flashing until just now, though. Okay, what do we have here? Wait, what? No way. This delve can 4 treasure room as well. Okay, yeah, this delve is better. 3 guaranteed treasure rooms with a potential of a 4th. And who knows, there might even be other rooms that could potentially occasionally treasure room. Yeah, this is a treasure room. Yeah, this is the best delve in the game. Ooh, do we keep this at a low level? I almost want to keep this at a low level now. It's so tempting. We could even use truffle here and everything. I don't know, do we just keep this at low level? It is so tempting now. I so overbought on packs though, if we do. We excessively overbought on packs if that's our plan. It's really tempting. This delve is like so perfect. You have every single room immediately. You can use Truffle Team for it. And has best loot of any delve. I think we might finally replace Warrens. Oh! There's one problem with that though. Drifting Sands stays 14 stars for a while if we don't get the pet right now. Because one issue with staying a low level is you cannot get the pet for Drifting Sands. And I believe the kingdom can currently be 16 starred. However, if you stay at like 110 or 100 or, you know, something similar really low, you would not be able to ever get that pet at that low of a delve level. That'd be the only big issue with not going for it, or you know, staying a low level. But yeah, I'm considering keeping it low level. It's just too good of a delve to not to. And it is like a decent step up from Warrens in both team composition and in loot. Because it's definitely a lot more bearable running Truffle the entire time, that's for sure. That doesn't mean we wasted a bunch of gems on this event, though. Though we could still use all the battles and just run away before the final battle thingy. I don't think that would be able to get all rewards, though. I don't know, we'll have to think about it. It's a really hard decision. I think I might just do it all the way to completion. I just keep Warrens for now. Because while this delve is going to be insanely good, there's a good chance we're just going to get another insanely good delve in the near future. Like, a Silver Necropolis seemed like one that we'd almost never get a replacement for, and then we did. There's a chance we might finally get another one that's slightly better than this. So you know what? I might actually not keep it at a low level. It's very tempting too, though. It's definitely a good option to consider keeping out low level. I don't think I will be, though. Just so we can go get the pet, and since I already spent the gems. If I didn't already spend the gems, I would probably consider it more to keep it out low level. But since we've literally already thrown like all the gems at it, can't undo that. So we're probably just going to go all the way. And just hope that another faction comes around, or hope that they finally make level 500 factions viable in the next patch or two. Really surprised they did not do this patch. Make factions viable. Or, you know, level 500 factions. Because right now, every single faction gives the exact same loot. Level 20, level 110, level 500, they all give the exact same loot. Doesn't matter what level you do. The fact that you can run Truffle Team is what sold you. Yeah, Truffle is so insanely good. Really relaxing, too, compared to quite a few other teams. Yeah, I haven't been running Warrens as much just because it's not Truffle. Okay, yeah, let's take that into that and then go to final battle there. I'm starting to cough up all of a sudden. Don't start that again. I just got over a cough. I do not need it again. I do not need it again. I think that's just... Necropolis is basically the same loot as this delve. It's hard to tell which one is actually higher. But it does seem like this one is potentially slightly higher than Silver Necropolis, but it's not by much. They're both... If you already are farming Silver Necropolis, there's really no point in switching to this one. Unless you just want to run Truffle Team, because I don't think you can run Truffle there. But, their overall loot's almost the exact same, though there is quite a bit of a difference if you're currently farming Warrens. If you were to switch to this one, it's quite a bit of an improvement. Especially since anyone who's been farming Warrens probably has infinite arcanes already. They do not need more. Pretty sure most people who've been farming Warrens have like over 1,000 arcane lights by now. I think we actually have double the amount of arcane lights compared to our second highest arcane. It's pretty funny. Just because we get so many for free automatically from doing the faction. How do you decide which room to run first? Generally, multiplier order with treasure rooms last is how the order is normally determined. There's a few other factors as well. But the main premise is you take multiplier order and take the treasure rooms last. But if a treasure room has a really high multiplier, you take it, end up taking it slightly before some of the other rooms. Like if there's a 1.4 times the multiplier, you generally take it before a 1.2 treasure room or something like that. But for example, let's just say this delve. So right off the bat, we know we want to go check, well, just with how this delve is laid out, we know we want to check these four. The 2 tier 5s and these 2, whatever these are currently. Given that there's a 2, we also want to check it for Cedric. So we want to check this to see if it's Cedric, and it's not. In which case we might want to do it a bit earlier because that gives us extra gold throughout the entire delve. Then we have a 1.4, 1.3, 1.25, and these could be treasure rooms, by the way, these two. But although it's small chance. And then a 1.2. So we pretty much already know what our order is then. So we do that, we do that. We do probably this one because it's 1.4. We take this 1.3 before we take the 1.4, mainly because this 1.4 is a treasure room. So we want to get a little bit extra multiplier on that first. And then we just take these other two and then go into the other treasure rooms. The exact order can vary. I'm not sure what the exact statistical actual correct order for that is. Like if we should take that 1.25 first or take the 1.4. But generally, you want to take as many of the big multipliers as quickly as possible. Unless it's a treasure room big multiplier, in which case you have to kind of factor in if it's worth taking immediately or waiting. Especially with that one, because even though it's a 1.4 multiplier, it's 1,600 gold. That gets multiplied by all your other multipliers. This one's obviously definitely first. How to gain more glory? Spam PvP. Though the easiest way to gain glory, also doing faction events like this, also give a decent amount. But the best way to get glory is wait until a vault event. Next vault event is September 13th. And spam the event like crazy. And if you do that, you'll end up getting the highest rate of glory in the entire game. Spamming anything, particularly Explore and such, during a gnome event has the highest rate of glory in the game, averaging around 1,500 per hour. And you can get upwards of 3,000 if you get lucky, or even more. But yeah, Vault Events has a absurdly high glory rate. Its average is almost double that of normal PvP, which is the highest that you would normally do if it wasn't a gnome event. And you can also stack both of them simultaneously as well, and do a PvP while doing a Vault event. Though if you win Explore quick enough, it's actually... I believe more glory just to do Explore, even though it doesn't give you any glory per battle. Just with how many more glory gnomes you'd be getting makes it worth it. You still have 2 weeks until Vault event. Not next week, but the following week. 2 Fridays from now will be a Vault event. Okay, what am I doing here? We could either take the 1.25 or the 1.4 here. I think we are going to go for the 1.4. Then the 1.25, then the 1.2, then the other 2 treasure rooms, starting with the higher multiplier one, which is the top one. Because we know that the tier 3's rooms for a treasure room has to be higher than a tier 2 rooms for a treasure room. The highest multiplier tier 2 room has for a treasure room is 1.15 or 1.2. I actually forget off the top of my head for that. I believe it's only a 1.15. And the highest that a tier 3 has is a 1.3, with the lowest being a 1.15. So we definitely know we want to go for the 3 first, even with no understanding of what that room is. Even if we never scouted it, we would know we'd want to do it first. Just because of its better multiplier, while still giving similar loot as a tier 2 would. The only exception to that would be Cedric Room. But we already checked to see that the tier 2 wasn't Cedric Room. Or did I say treasure room? I meant Cedric Room. Yeah, if the tier 2 was Cedric, we'd want to take it first, if not immediately. Because if we, it might be worth taking immediately just to be able to get the gold multiplier for it. If we were using something that was actually gaining gold on our team. Team's not particularly good at that though. That's the only big issue with this compared to Key Team, is it does not max out your gold. You can get more gold, but it doesn't max out your gold. Like by the end of this battle, we're probably gonna have like let's say 50 gold or so. Actually a little bit less it looks like. But yeah, you're not really gonna max it out with this particular team. When we take this one, and obviously it's higher. We already knew that before we even clicked on it. And I would take the other room. But you get a feel for like the kind of order that you need after you do a delve a couple times. And after you've delves enough in general in this game, you kind of know like what most of the multipliers are and what their loot are. And then you can kind of determine what path you want to go. But the main thing to know when you're picking your order for delves, if you are doing it, is don't waste too much time on it, obviously. If you're wasting more than like a few seconds, you really shouldn't be doing it for the most part, just because it's going to overall be wasting your loot, essentially. If you're wasting a bunch of time to figure out what the optimal order is, you could just be farming that loot instead. But you get pretty quick at it once you kind of have an understanding of what most of the multipliers are and what most of the loots are for the rooms. And you basically just have to factor in what multipliers you want to take first to maximize getting that multiplier up, since it applies to every room subsequent to it. And then using those multipliers and just figuring out what the base loot is of every single room, and just taking them based on their base loot, combined with which multipliers are highest first. Which is why you normally take the treasure rooms last, because most treasure rooms are average multiplier or low multiplier with really good loot that gets multiplied by all your other multipliers. Cedric Room can be good for pure faction. How so? Oh yeah, for this particular delve, a Cedric Room could actually buff your pure faction. It's one of the only instances where you might actually go out of your way just to go do a side room. For this we have to check because it could be Cedric. It's not though. Okay. So I didn't even check what were the actual multipliers. I clicked on them. I didn't bother looking at them. Okay. So based on that, we know we have to do this, this, and then we check these three. And based on these three, we'd probably go in order of, well, they're both same loot, aren't they? So I guess that wouldn't matter much. So we take that one, then it's gonna be fine. But, okay. So we take the 4 non-treasure rooms, then we take treasure rooms in multiplier order, basically, at this point. Generally, you take treasure rooms in multiplier order. The only exceptions to this, mainly, are Cedric Room, which almost always has first priority over almost every other room, just because it increases the amount of gold that you gain throughout the rest of the delve. By a pretty substantial amount. So the Cedric Room, there is, I don't know, what other one would you do outside of multiplier order? Leprechaun Room you always do last, though it's the lowest multipliers of any treasure room, so it would be last anyways. And that 1 tier 5 room you'd always do first, with the only exception maybe being Cedric. But that's multiplier order, so that doesn't change. I don't think of a treasure room other than Cedric that you do outside of multiplier order. I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure Cedric Room is the only treasure room that you do outside of multiplier order. And that's just because the overall loot for doing it quicker, or doing it as soon as possible, is more than if you were to save it for later multiplier. Just because it increases the amount of gold you gain by quite literal hundreds per battle. And in some instances, even by thousands. If you're using like a actual max gold team, like a greed team or a leprechaun team or something like that. Something that can max your gold in a very quick amount of time. Why Corsair class? Because I need levels. Corsair class makes this team weaker, but I need the EXP. The only other class that we could use that would gain some kind of betterness to this while still gaining EXP is Dervish hero class. But I'm not using that because it's such a useless class. Well, I do want to get it leveled. Now is not the time. I do want to try getting this maxed before next Guild Wars in a month. Oh, I'm checking these. We just take these two, and then we take the treasure rooms from top to bottom, or bottom to top, I mean. Yeah, Corsair is not being used for any benefit that he has. We're using him for the sole purpose of gaining HP right now, and no other reason other than that. He's not hindering the team much yet. For later delves, I'll probably be switching into, obviously, like, Warden or, yeah, probably Warden. But, for now, it's fine. Also, we haven't really been facing any Submerges, oddly enough. Submerge does hard counter this team, but we haven't had to deal with it yet, luckily. It's good, because we don't currently have the spell on this team. Dervish is fun with PvP with monster stack growth. It could potentially be really good with monsters into the future. The biggest issue is it just doesn't have any synergies and there's no half mana start to all monsters. If we ever got a half mana start to all monsters and slightly better monster synergies, probably be really insanely good. There's quite a few good monster troops out there. It's just most of them lack synergy together and there's no half mana start to kind of put it all together. But they do have potential into the future, which might make Dervish Clash decent in that regard. I don't think he gains any benefit from being 100, though. Like, none of his benefits, I don't believe, benefit monsters at 100. Which means us having currently at level 70, even if monsters did become viable with him, 70 is going to be perfectly fine, because he doesn't gain any viable benefit from being maxed. Even though they both have the same benefit of giving rogues 1 magic per extra turn, Corsair hero class uses that way better, because for one, the hero class itself is a rogue, and the kingdom that's associated with is also almost entirely rogue, which is of course Blackhawk, the one that Dervish Clash is, I mean not Dervish, the one that Corsair is associated to, is almost purely rogue. Also, that's a little bit more relevant these days as well, because of the new kingdom bonuses that now apply on all kingdoms. No, we're not going to get a better delve than this anytime soon. It took us like 4 months before we got one better than Silver Necropolis. Yeah, it's still not too late for me to go and decide to farm it. I'm still leaning towards not farming it, though. I would advise people to probably farm it. Obviously, it's a really good faction for it. But I think I'm going all the way. And the main two factors for that is we already spent the gems, and I need the pet for the kingdom upgrades. 2 kingdom upgrades, actually. The kingdom of Leonis Empire goes from 14 stars to 16 stars with the pet. And there's a good chance we're not getting another Drifting Sands pet anytime soon. Oh, also, is that Cedric? It is. Ooh. Though I'm not currently using a team that utilizes Cedric. But I will grab it a little bit earlier just because. It is Cedric. I don't know, maybe we don't. Because right now we're kind of going for a leaderboard, I guess. Maybe I do take it in multiplayer order. It's not going to be that big of a difference, though. I'd rather have the little bit extra few hundred gold per battle, probably. Better we'll grab the really big multipliers first, though. Since we're not specifically using a team that's gold-based. If you are using a team that's gold-based, for example, one that maxes your gold every single time, you should definitely take the Cedric room immediately. Every time. Like right now we should be. If we were using something that maxes gold. But we're not using a key team or something like that, so we don't max gold. We could always put like some kind of alternative onto this team if we really want to. And switch it just for those teams, for those battles, but I don't know, what would you really put? I guess you'd put a greed onto this team. Either over top a hero or over top one of your two truffles. Wait, none of these were 1.4, right? Yeah. Okay. See, I'm probably just gonna take it in normal order then. And just ignore that it's even Cedric. Or Cedric room. But we just don't have a proper gold thing that we could put into this team. We're not gaining that much gold per battle. Seems to be averaging around the 30s. And again, I guess the later we go into delves, the higher that goes, though. And for whatever reason, the final turn will never give you any of the extra turns they end up getting off the board as gold. It stops calculating the gold thingy after that point. Yeah, moving from 100 to, or 70 to 100 in any class is hard. 70 is the halfway point to 100 in this game. So all the work that you did to get to 70 is how much work you have to do again just to get it to 100. So the effort you put in to get 6 perks is how much you have to put in just to get 1 perk and the final perk. Which is extremely time consuming relative to what you get in return for it, which is normally a useless level 100 perk. There are hero classes with good 100 perks, of course, but there's a really good majority that don't have good 100 perks. Makes it a lot less enticing to actually bother maxing them, even though it is eventually required. Every 20-star kingdom in the entire game will require a level 100 hero class. So do be mindful of that. Obviously, that's still a little bit down the line, but I believe even 17-star requires like 70 or something. Like you start needing levels on them. I'm actually taking Cedric room last. I'm just doing multiplier order. Just because of how little impact he's going to have on this particular team. Though generally you would go for him immediately. If you're using any team that even resembles gold farming. But that's not our goal right now. Our goal is to get this event done. And to get as many points as we can to try to save some gems off the leaderboard. Because gold has a really bad return rate as far as its actual gem value. Even though you do need it for like faction upgrades and stuff like that. 50,000 gold is only worth about 1 gem. Approximately. Oh, that Valor even better not escape. I don't have alignment on that, do I? I can go get alignment though, and he's dead. I guess him having Submerger won't really matter too much. We can just throw the good weapon and just kill them out if we have to. Just keep our loop going. Does anyone know if using an Ice Storm with the Truffle team is viable? Kind of. You can if you wanted to. It's not the best Storm to use with it. The best two are Green and Brown. Green being the absolute best. Brown mainly because it feeds back into Forest Troll and because it's the gem that it creates. The only big issue with blue is that nothing on the team creates blue. While a lot of things use it, the entire team except your hero, you're not really creating anything out of it. Like nothing specifically putting blues or utilizing blues for board control. The mana is needed, but the gem on the board is not needed. So it could potentially block infinite loops. Also, more blue gems theoretically means less green and green and brown on the board. Because if more blues are spawning, then less of every other color is spawning. Yeah, generally if you're using this team, Greenstorm's the way to go. If you have any viable way of placing it on your team. Actually, this team still does have a way to Greenstorm, by the way. Even though I haven't really been utilizing it. So we need a longer battle to really be able to properly utilize it. But if I cast that weapon, watch it create a Greenstorm. Even though our hero doesn't default with it. Yep, we're almost at the point of no return. If I go past 110, there's no going back. Ugh. Because 110 is the highest you would ever need to go in a faction on a Tuesday event. Generally, the highest you ever really need to go is actually 90. There are some occasions where you get the extra Val Raven and you could use like those battles off it. Very rare though. And Bart back to Orb Weaver go. Yeah, getting Orb Weaver's max pretty nice. There we go, another level on the Corsair. Why we're using it. Gotta get those levels. Yeah, Truffle Team can theoretically farm all the way to 500 if it really wanted to. It doesn't care what their levels are, it just farms indefinitely. It's just obviously the higher you go, the more time it takes. Yeah, Corsair can, Truffle Team can farm against max stats and it wouldn't matter. As long as its stats all weren't too far away from it. Like, they could have 1,000 HP and armor and it could still be perfectly fine. It might take like 2-3 minutes to win the battle, but it would technically win. Easily. Not to mention it has on Skull and Tangle too. All you'd have to do is Skull and then boom and Tangle. There we go. And now it's infinite him. Pretty small infinite, but there we go. He didn't have that much HP. I probably should have grabbed that 1.3 first. Oh well, it's not that big a deal. Grab this, grab the 1.25s, grab the treasure room 1.3, and then go from there. I'm still tempted to make this my new farming faction. It's the best farming faction in the game. It's either better or tied with Silver Necropolis. And it seems like it's better overall. Not by much, but it does seem like it's slightly better. I guess the biggest benefit is that you can run Truffle in it as well. Which is probably the biggest thing that's actually making it quite a bit better than the other one. But then again, what was the color of the other one? I actually forget. I completely forget what Silver Necropolis' color is. Was it red-purple? Yeah, if it's red-purple, you can't run Truffle there. I don't think it was red-purple, though. I remember being able to use Iron Gut. If it was blue-purple or something similar, you'd be able to still run it there. Let me go double-check. What even was its color? Truffle is better than everything. Yeah, I don't think you can run Truffle there, though I completely forget what colors it can run. If it'll ever load. Loading screen simulator. Dun 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Yeah, they said they weren't nerfing Truffle. And they did in this most recent patch. But yeah, they currently said they have no intention on nerfing Truffle. which I found really surprising. They're probably going to tweak it in the future if they realize like everyone in the entire game is running truffle for all factions. They'd probably tweak it slightly, but yeah, it's a pretty solid option. The game would ever load. Well, they said that they might eventually nerf it, but that they currently have no plans, and that they would look into it into the future. But what they specifically said is they currently have no plans on nerfing truffle anytime soon, but that they might look into it later if it does, you know, if it's going to be imbalanced. They're almost guaranteed going to tweak it to some degree. I don't think it's going to be a huge nerf, but they're probably going to lower its gem spawn and maybe raise its mana cost slightly. I'm going to restart the game. It's going to take too long to load. Restart it right back up. Come on, Steam, start. There you go. Loading, loading, loading. Well, the main reason I feel like they might still come around to nerf truffle is they've nerfed every infinite loop pretty much from the game, or at least like the extremely consistent ones, and truffle brings it back into the game, so they might do something to address it later at some point. Okay, next order of business. Keep going. Before I do, I was gonna go check what color was Silver Necropolis. It is the color of brown purple. Yeah, you can't run truffle there. You can't run any part of truffle. Well, I guess you can run the forest troll, but you can't run the truffle itself. Yeah, you can't run truffle in Silver Necropolis. Yeah, City of Thieves has a pretty big advantage in that regard because truffle is amazing. Oops, that's not the team I want. At least it's easy to tell when I accidentally click on the wrong event, because it's blatantly the wrong thing, so that's good. Hey, you doubt they'll mess with Gargoyle? No, they're never going to touch Gargoyle. There's a good chance they might not touch Truffle either, but it's still up in the air on if they will or will not. They currently don't plan to, but that can change. If they get statistics that say like more than half the game is like running Truffle in factions, then they might consider tweaking it. You run Iron Gut with Rock Troll? Yeah, generally the way that you run Silver Necropolis is instant kill spam. That was actually one of the reasons why I leveled it up a little bit further. In case they ever made level 500 viable, my plan for Silver Necropolis was to use Iron Gut to 100% devour all of them by upgrading the Hoard so high that it would have a 100% chance to devour each time. Also, what color is Leonis Empire Kingdom? Does anyone recall? Because that might be a good kingdom to upgrade if you're farming it on a daily basis. I forget if it's considered blue or yellow or something completely different. Let me go check. What color is Silver Necropolis? I mean, not Silver Necropolis. Leonis Empire considered. It is considered the color of blue. What was the blue that we designated as good? I think it was Merlantis. They'd probably still say Merlantis, because the kingdom bonus that you end up getting from it's better, even though it has that faction bonus going on. Also, I believe this is HP, whereas the other thing is armor. Pretty sure Leonis Empire's armor. And it is, yeah. It's still a pretty good blue kingdom to consider. The best 3 blue kingdoms to consider are Merlantis, Leonis Empire, and Stormheim. Stormheim's the only one of those 3 that does not have a faction. However, it has a really good team synergy within the faction, or within the kingdom, I mean. And it also has Titan as an option, so you can synergize that for extra stats. Because it ends up giving more stats whenever you use multiple Stormheim troops together. If you're using like a Hinla with it or other stuff like Ural and, you know, other similar things, ends up working out to give even more stats than normal. Yeah, I was considering doing Stormheim. I just didn't feel like I would be doing Giants anytime soon. Also, I don't believe a Giant, or the faction for that is coming out anytime. And it's also not a Giant bonus, it's specifically Stormheim bonus. But still really, really high stats. You could easily get like way over 100. You can get like 150 stats on everything. Or, you know, HP and armor, particularly HP. Their durability has become absurdly high. Like around 250, almost 300 durability on some of the troops there. Which is way above average. I need to check these for 1.4s. Okay, nope, no 1.4s. I really hate that 1.2 treasure room on tier 5. Makes tier 5 so useless sometimes. I believe they added a second one too. I know there was that one for sure. I forget if they added another one in there. It's such an annoying room though. These makes tier 5 rooms worth so much less. Yeah, take this one, take the weak tier point, or take the weak tier 5, and then go to the other ones, the treasure rooms. Take a blue for now and just double it up. Can I talk about how the new deed things work? Should you save them, or what is the strategy for using them? I will be covering a video on it soon. I've been waiting until we get a deed task before I cover it. I guess I might just cover it at this point before the deed task and just cover it later this weekend. I was kind of hoping that we could wait until we get them, but they don't appear to be starting until next week. So I guess waiting might not be a viable strategy. But basically, the way that you use deeds is you want to throw them on whatever combination of kingdoms have a good kingdom bonus, a good faction bonus, and a good stats associated to them. And how you weigh those is based on what you need, though generally the weightedness of it would be based on stat first, then based on faction, and then based on team bonus, is generally how you would weigh them. But those are the three things, main benefits that you get from actually upgrading them. The stat is the same ones that you'd want to prioritize, mostly magic. So, for example, purple kingdoms, basically the 5 magic kingdoms. 4 of them are purple, 1 of them is green. So you definitely throw your immediate greens on JoeConnors, because it's the only non-purple scroll that can be used to give you magic. So you definitely want to do that. All your greens should be going into JoeConnors. Purples you should be only doing into magic kingdoms. There are 4 of them. The best 2 are either Darkstone or Silverglade. I would personally say Silverglade just because it's associated to the second best faction in the game as far as farming, which is Silver Necropolis. So you might just want to put it in there. And then eventually do Darkstone, and then eventually do Blighted Lands and Carecroft, in that order. And then you just need to worry about the other colors. Blue, you'd mostly put into either Leonis Empire, because this faction is the best faction in the game, or into Merlantis, because team bonus for Merlantis is decent, plus it still has a faction that's associated to, plus it has a better stat. Leonis has armor, whereas Merlantis has HP. And other than that, what colors did I miss? Brown currently has no viable option from what I can tell. It's the only color that I would say to save, because I don't believe it has a viable option for anything. Red, I think, has almost no option, but for now, I believe you just put into Miss the Scales for the purpose of the fact that I believe it's the only red in the entire game that has a faction, and that's Merlantis to Dark Pits is the only correlation that is out there currently, as far as reds are concerned. And what other colors I miss? Yellow? Yellow, I believe, is Pan's Veil because of Warrens, if you're still farming Warrens on a daily basis, and also just for the Kingdom upgrade in general. But it's mostly just for the Warrens. Actually, I wouldn't really use the Kingdom bonus for that one. But I'm trying to think of what other yellow you might do, but I believe it's just Warrens. It's either Warrens or I guess maybe White Helm? Because that White Helm is associated to Half Guardians, of course. But, I don't know, I'd probably say Warrens, especially if you're farming it daily, still, like I am. It would definitely be better than that, but one of those two would probably work. I'm trying to think of what other yellows are out there. What other color did I miss? I know I missed one color. Purple, green, red, blue. Well, that's all of them, right? Yeah, I mentioned all of them. Because brown doesn't have any good association currently. There's no good thing to use brown on. There's not a single stat that is useful because there's no magic. There's not a single faction that is useful because none of them use factions. There's currently no Brown Kingdom associated to a faction. And there's none that have particularly good team bonuses. So every single factor, all three of them, Brown doesn't currently do. I would just say save Brown, though. And that's basically what I use them for. And I'll be explaining that more concisely in a video eventually. I went over that on Tuesday as well. I just haven't done a video on it because I was waiting for a scroll, but apparently they're not doing it till next week, so I should probably just do the video already. Yeah, Adventure Board is exactly the same for all platforms. It should be for all platforms. It's definitely on all similar platforms. It's definitely exactly the same, but it should just be across all platforms as well. Exactly the same. Kind of like how Soulforge is. But the only exception, of course, being Switch version. But that's because Switch version is whatever Switch version is. It's it's a gigantic mess. Although consoles had the same issue when they first launched as well. I'm not sure what's with them in launching consoles all over the place. Like, console launches are always weird compared to like how they did it on like when they released on that one Amazon thing, which I keep forgetting what it's called. The launch went like so smoothly and with like no issues at all, and it was cross-platform with PC mobile. Whenever they try doing it on like any console, it seems to like go horrifically wrong and not get it fully up to date until like a year or two after. I know, it was a 7-hour stream. I will be doing a concise video on it, for sure. I just haven't yet. You don't understand it at all then, really? Well, you're basically upgrading them based on the benefits that you would get. And you're basically weighing them based on whichever ones you think are best. And you should always max out every single one to level 15 at a time. You shouldn't, like, partially upgrade one and then partially upgrade another. You should focus on 1 to 15, then focus on another to 15, and keep going 15 by 15. It's kind of similar to how you do star levels, where generally you don't really like tangent on star levels. You tend to go 5, and then another 5, and another 5, and another 5. Or if you're doing 10s, you kind of go 10, and then another 10, another 10, another 10. You don't tend to do like the in-between ones as much. And the way that these are kind of the same. And it has the same priority order, except just with a couple other caveats. Instead of just basing it off of stats. Stats is the biggest priority. Second biggest priority is how decent the faction's associated to. And the third priority is what bonus it gets. So depending on how good that bonus is, it could outweigh the other ones. For example, Stormheim has only a okay stat and no faction. However, its team bonus is so good that it might be enticing for some people to build a 4x giant team out of Stormheim and get it maxed just to be able to utilize the better benefit and the 1 HP. Let's see. But if you still have any other questions about it, let me know. Luckily, no one can really waste their deeds now because everyone only has 4 deeds. And wasting 4 deeds is not really going to make much of a difference. But, yeah, once deeds start to actually start popping into the event things, then it will start mattering quite a bit more. Because even the lowest deed event gives you like 8 deeds or something. Like, say you forget how many color ones you get from the epic one. What on earth is this board? Oh, never mind, we still have a cast. Good. Because that board was horrifically bad. There we go. What do we need here? Looks like we take that 1.25 and then hit into the 1.3 and then take the... Actually, we should probably take that 1.2 first and then take the 1.3. Treasure room. If you see Cedric room and you're using any team that can farm gold, you should take it immediately, yes. The only reason I'm not is because this team does not really farm gold. It normally ends in around 30 to 40 gold. Which will still be benefited by a Cedric, because 30 to 40 gold in a Cedric battle is like 150 to 300 gold, plus your multipliers. But it makes a lot less of a difference if you're not using like a specific gold farming team that gains a high capacity of gold. But then again, that time around it did go pretty high. But it doesn't always. But yeah, generally, if you want to max out your gold, yes, you should be taking it first. And yeah, you should pretty much always be taking it first. If I was doing this off of dailies, I would definitely be taking it first. But given that this is a faction event, multiplayer order still does matter for the extra points. And because we're going for leaderboard, I am doing it in exact multiplier order. Or pretty much exact multiplier order. Except for treasure room still. So I guess I am still doing it slightly differently. Maybe I should just go for the Cedrics first. Because I already am sacrificing some by not doing exact multiplayer order. In order to get better treasure room loot. Like, when you can take it this early, it's going to be worth it. Because all you have to do is do the initial room that you have to do, that which is required. And then you can already take a Cedric. It is tied for the quickest Cedric in the entire game. How far the Cedric is from the starting room. In that it's also tied at the absolute quickest. I don't think they're ever going to make it literally the first room. Not the delve room. So, yeah, it is always going to be the quickest then. Tied at it with 3 different rooms that can all be Cedric. Oh, so we don't need that one, and it would take this one. And then take that one, and then take the final room. Okay, I'll grab explosion. Oh, why did I think that was a leprechaun? Why on earth did I think that was leprechaun? You can fit leprechaun into this team. It's just you'd have to sacrifice hero or do some kind of other tweak. Good morning, Robert. Welcome. How are the new Thieves treating us? Pretty well. Also, we're past the point of no return. I forgot to mention that when we actually reached the point of no return. Oh, also, I said I would give out a redeem code at first orb. We already hit that first orb. I guess we'll hand it out at the end of stealth then. Whoops. Yeah, we'll go hand out a code in a moment then. Didn't realize we overshot it already. I keep forgetting how quickly some of those points add up. Like, getting the event done super easy. You only have to go to like 200 something, I think. Whereas we're going all the way to 500 pure faction. But yeah, do keep in mind, you might want to not do this event just to farm it. This is one of the best delves, if not the best delve in the game. Another 25 gem code? No, we're not giving out a 25 gem code. That was a complete accident last night. Complete accident that we handed out a code with 25 gems. It's only going to be done for very special occasions. Or if I accidentally mess up. Like last night. But just consider it an extra thing for 4.5. Yeah, it's not possible to get deeds right now. You get them off Adventure Board, but they aren't making it until Monday to be possible to get it off of Adventure Board. So they're currently impossible to get. Well, let's go grab our orb, go hand out a code, go from there. So that's a pretty cool looking icon, I do have to say. Not something I would personally use, but it does look pretty cool. Anyone actually using it in... I'm not even associated to Global. Let me go into Global. Into Global we go! Global 1. See how many people are using it. Not that many. Oh, can you finally buy the American flag? Where's the emoji for that? We can! I was gonna say, it's like, wait, there's American flag and global. It must be buyable now. But you can go buy the two flags. You can buy the Canada flag and you can buy the American flag. No? So it seems like they take about 2 months to cycle. Because that was added for obviously 4th of July, that one. I forget when the Canada one was added. But nice. Okay. That's not what I'm using though. Where's the Griffin? There it is. That's our correct one. The French flag's still away though, but that's because it came a couple weeks after. Anyways. Wait, was I about to go check something? Oh yeah, I was gonna give out a code. I knew I was forgetting something. Hold up. Okay, let me go hand out the code. Let's see. Let me grab that. Oh, so what's it saying with that? The site is read-only mode. Are they having problems with the forum? Please continue to browse, but replying, likes, and other actions have been disabled for now. Huh. Guess there's some forum issue or they're updating something with the forum. Let's see, did I grab the wrong code? Let me double check that this is the right code. Make sure it's not a, Okay, good. This is not the super good one. This is not the super amazing code. It should be a normal code. Let me go check my mail just in case. But no, this should be a completely normal code. I keep them both in the same location. I probably should separate their locations. If we'll ever load. Hello, game. Do you want to load today? Loading screen simulator. It shouldn't take too long. There it goes. No, I did not want to buy that. Let me see. Check our mail. Get a reward. Yeah, it's normal. Yep, same thing as always. 200 souls, 2,000, or 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Can we maul? And here you guys go. Here's the code. There it is. Use it on gemsofwar.com, read the game code section. Same thing as always. Redeem code is right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers and letters. Invite code is whatever your game says there. Just copy paste whatever your game says there. And use it on gemsofwar.com, read the game code section, or simply click that link. And there you go. Okay, well, let's keep going. Might even be able to get all the rewards done this stream. Actually, then again, maybe not. The last few take a long time. Like, it might seem like we're more than halfway done, but we're actually, like, not even halfway done. Because of how long these last several take. Like the last 4 alone is like the halfway point or something. Definitely the last 5 or something. So yeah, after we do this one's like more like the halfway point. Even though it looks like we're already halfway there. At least as far as those rewards are concerned. Obviously overall we're not even halfway there. Because halfway point is for the delve is around 300. If you're doing pure faction 500. The halfway is about 300. I'll take that. Yep, no problem for the code, everyone. Enjoy. Also, that reminds me, I need to shave soon. I've been growing this out like almost all summer. Normally I do that for winter, but apparently this summer as well. Well, we know what the highest multiplier room is if we want to do multiplier order. However, since we're also doing partially treasure order, I'm going to do these 2 first, and then we'll do the 1.4. Because we already know that top room's 1.4. We don't even need to look at it. There's only one tier 5 treasure room, and it's 1.4 multiplier. It's that one Draculus team. One Draculus room. So we don't even need to click it to know exactly what it is. Given that there is only one option for it. There's still more options like that in the game. They keep adding so many rooms that less options like that become available, where you already know what it is before you even click it. Which they had certain delves set up in that way, where they had a limited pool of rooms, so that you could actually determine, like once you get like a good understanding of the delve, you could just automatically have memorized what it could potentially be. Or be exactly what it be, if there's only a certain amount for every single position. So that based on simply the difficulty of the room, you can already know what it is without clicking. It used to be a lot more common in the past. You can still do it currently. However, there are a lot less instances where you'll know for sure. However, we know with 100% certainty without ever having clicked on this yet that this is a 1.4 Draculus room. And as you can see, it's a 1.4 Draculus room because that's the only thing tier 5 treasure room has currently. Until they add another tier 5 treasure room. Which might not necessarily be a bad thing because more tier 5 treasure rooms would definitely be better than not more tier 5 treasure rooms. Since they're among some of the best rooms in the game. Because they have high multiplier and high loot. Whereas most treasure rooms have good loot but only average or low multiplier. What do I think of the new faction? It's the best faction in the entire game. Is what I think of it. And that's not even like a opinion, that's almost fact. That pretty much is fact. I'm not sure if anyone has done the math to see if Silver Necropolis is actually better than it or not. That's most likely City of Thieves being better. Yeah, it's just fact that this is the best faction in the game, pretty much. It's a pretty fun one. You can go in any direction, so there's a lot of flexibility as far as how you do it. It also has a straight path to the end if you want to rush it, though I wouldn't really advise it since it's such good loot. And, yeah, it's a great faction. Troops aren't the greatest from it, though. But at least we have, like, a new kind of skull spam option, if nothing else. And the Legend's pretty good for early and mid-game, so I wouldn't really use it later in the game. It's also bad against higher-level content. That might find its way into something eventually. Alright, we take this room, top left, and then take the bottom there. Grab the last little treasure room thingy. Oh no, I'm not going to be getting hit by the hurricane. I'm probably going to get a lot of rain and could like lose electricity, I guess, to some degree. But no, it's not really hitting me. Like the hurricane itself isn't hitting me. At least this one won't be, luckily. It seems to just be running right into Florida. And even at this current moment in time, it looks like I might not even get that much rain or anything either, since it probably is diverting over to the other direction. Looks like it's heading west, not east, when it heads into the coast. That does mean it's slamming right into Florida, though. I still don't know why my dad wants to move to Florida. He better not buy a house there. I feel like Florida will be completely underwater in like 3 decades. Probably. There's like a really good chance of that. A lot of the coast will be. Maybe not in 3 decades, but give it like at least like 5 decades. A lot of coastal areas will be. Andrew Yang agrees with you. I'm not even sure what his position specifically was on that. I know you've got a like really comprehensive global warming plan recently. A lot of candidates have been posting theirs. I didn't read through the whole thing though, just because it was so comprehensive. Haven't had a chance yet. I know even some areas in New Jersey that I used to fish at aren't even fishable anymore because of water rising there. Not by much, but enough to make it impossible to do so. It was kind of like a swamp, kind of wetland area that could flood very easily. I think ever since Hurricane Sandy, it's actually been to the point where it's not habitable anymore. That was a big hurricane that hit there a couple years ago. I think in 2013, I believe it was, somewhere around then. Luckily, I wasn't in the state at the time. I was actually in South Carolina. Actually, when did it hit? It had to have hit 2012 then, because I was in New Jersey in 2013. Because I was going to college then. Oh yeah, Andrew Yang's the presidential candidate who's running primarily. Well, he has a lot of plans, but he's running primarily on UBI. Calls it the Freedom Dividend. I believe he's the first presidential candidate to actually ever run on it. Even though Nixon almost passed it in 1971, I believe it was, or whenever it was. I forget when Nixon was president. I wasn't alive then. Let's see. I'll throw that down. But yeah, he wants to do a VAT tax, which most other countries already have, as well as tax automation and stuff. Because we really don't get any money back for any of the data that we give to Facebook and other similar things. That's kind of like one of the justifications for it, among other things. Yeah, we'll take these two and then go for the tier 4 over there. Or tier 5, that's 1.4. I think one of his most interesting things, which most other candidates don't bring up, is how he wants to rework GDP. I think it's one of the things that I've never heard ever mentioned by anyone. And he's planning on basically completely overhauling it to better reflect well-being rather than actual monetary gains. Because automation is just going to make GDP go through the roof. While it might not necessarily help the average person. You hate taxes, taxation is theft. Well, UBI is giving you money back. So it's like inverse taxation. It still has taxes attached to it. However, for you to lose more money to taxes than that which UBI would tax you, you'd have to spend over $120,000 a year. And I highly doubt the average person is spending over $120,000 per year. And not even just $120,000 total, but on luxury items, like things, non-necessity items. You'd have to spend $120,000 per year on non-essential items for the tax to charge you more than what you're paying now. Let's see. What do we go for here? Go for that one. Spend that on gems. That would buy a lot of gems. I would not advise spending it in that way, though. Yeah, that's not even just a minimum wage increase. Like how much worse stuff like that could potentially get. It's already like ridiculously bad in some games. Like how bad everything is just starting to get monetized these days. Luckily, indie developers aren't towards that point yet. Most of them. It's probably why indie development in general has gotten more popular. It's because they're so much less corrupt. Well, the main reason why I personally like UBI compared to just like minimum raise increases, there's a couple of reasons specifically. One is for small business, including like stuff that I do. Whenever minimum wage goes up, is a lot harder or a lot more expensive to hire freelance people, because if they are doing freelance work and minimum wage goes up, they expect more money for their work. Even if they're still doing like the exact same thing, exact same skill level, exact same everything, it'll just naturally go up, price of everything, with a minimum wage increase. Whereas that might not necessarily happen underneath a UBI, because the way, at least with how Andrew Yang's UBI is set up, it doesn't necessarily put the burden at all on business. It might on like some of the really big corporations and stuff, but like the average small business in town or something like that, it's not really going to be affecting. Whereas a $15 minimum wage would, or someone who's just like a, you know, someone who just like hires other people for some stuff occasionally like me, it would affect. But UBI would generally only affect like the bigger corporations for the most part, and people who are implementing automation and other similar things. Other than that, other really big reason for that is people that are like not working currently, either unemployed, homeless, taking care of other people, doing community work, stuff like that, all of which generally is paid at zero, and there's just no way to make money from it, obviously. Whereas with a UBI, that kind of helps to compensate those kind of things. And just a few other reasons for it, too. It's like a whole topic in and of itself, though. I'm actually a little bit right-wing in that regard, actually. I personally wish the minimum wage would just be completely abolished. However, maintaining a minimum wage that is higher than it is now for bigger corporations. But for like small businesses and like the average person, I just wish the minimum wage was just completely abolished. If someone wants to work for less, you just be able to hire them for less. But also allow for a lot of different kinds of work. If you could hire someone for $3 an hour to do something that's a lot less intense than a job that might be like $10 an hour. Obviously, it's a lot less pay per hour, but it could be something that's a lot easier to do that people can do in their downtime, or, you know, might not necessarily have to travel for. It could be like something online and other similar things where it would open up like what kind of things could be done for work compared to what is currently available for work. Because right now, if you want to hire someone for anything, it's $7.25 an hour. Doesn't matter what you're hiring them for, but you have to pay them at least that much. Whereas it could open up a lot of potential jobs if that number was reduced down to 0, or, you know, to any number, like 1, 5, 6, any kind of other number. Though if you ever were to get rid of minimum wage, you would have to have UBI. You can't just get rid of minimum wage without having UBI in place or some kind of similar thing, like some kind of baseline. And I'm not against a minimum wage increase. It's just, it's not as productive as most people would think, especially just doing it static across the entire nation. Because a minimum wage increase would mean a lot to my area, but it would also increase prices a lot in my area. Because right now, minimum wage is $7.25 in my area. Like most jobs around my area is like $7.25 to $9. So a $15 minimum wage is like almost doubling the wage in this area. Whereas, you do that in somewhere like New York, and it'll have like no effect at all. Like every job in New York's probably already above $15 per hour, just because the cost of living is so much more there. And just do it like a blanket minimum increase. This doesn't seem that good. Because a minimum increase means a lot. It's completely different for different areas of the country. What are we going for here? I'll take these two 1.3s. I don't know what I generally consider myself. I have a lot of views that are like both sides, though I generally lean like heavily left. But I do have like some right-wing kind of things. Like I tend to lean like left conservative for the most part, kind of. Well, it depends what you consider conservative. Like I don't mind having like a lot of programs that help people, but I generally would want to do everything like as efficiently as possible as far as costs. It's why one of the reasons why I kind of like UBI, because you don't have to worry about like all of the mandates and everything. You just get UBI. Like you don't have to worry about if you qualify for it or any kind of other things. You just simply get it, no questions asked. It's not taxed, it's not anything. You just simply get it directly added to your bank account and or check, and boom, it's over with. What do we take here? Move that over. And generally, I'm not for small government. Like, government shouldn't be overly bloated, but it has a role to play. I do feel like it should be in charge of, like, making sure healthcare and some other things are in check. Things that the private market can't properly do. To go for. Do I have over 1 million shards? We don't even have even remotely close to 1 million shards. We just spent like 10,000 shards and went down to 0. We have like no shards right now. Yeah, shards. I probably have like 3k shards right now because we just spent them all. UBI can be considered a couple different things. Like, there's left-wing UBI and there's right-wing UBI, and there's a whole spectrum to it. And Andrew Yang's is actually more towards the right, even though he's running on the left right now. Because it doesn't stack with all current programs. It actually replaces over some programs like food stamps and stuff. But mostly just like the really small programs are only going to be giving out like $50, $100 a month or such. It just kind of overwrites over those programs that currently exist. Because obviously most people would just take the 1,000. It also brings the cost of the program down a lot. Because 1,000 UBI in the United States is like 3 trillion a year. But if you stack it over top of some other welfare that already currently exists, that easily goes down to slightly under 2 trillion a year. Because there's already like 3 to 4 trillion in welfare currently. Per year. What do you take here? Take the brown for now. And just double it up. Hello, Boo-Cow. Welcome. Government breaks most of what it touches in your experience. Mostly due to mismanagement and wasteful spending. Yeah, government does have a lot of wasteful spending. I will not disagree with that. And a lot of mismanagement. I feel like after money in politics gets removed, or at least fixed, it shouldn't be as big a deal. Because why do you have like proper representatives? But the problem right now is the United States government is completely bought and paid for by corporations and the wealthy. And hopefully that'll eventually be fixed. Oh, you just woke up right now because you work nights? Yeah, I do that sometimes. I stay up late and sometimes wake up at like right in the middle of the day. Like at 2 p.m. sometimes or something like that. I know as far as Andrew Yang's policy in that regard, I know one of his biggest policies is democracy dollars, where basically every single person in the United States would have $100 that they get every single election cycle that would only be able to be used for campaigns, like to donate it towards campaigns. And with that much per American, I forget how many Americans there currently are, but it would actually outweigh anything that money could buy. So like all the millionaires that try buying candidates, it would be completely drowned with the $100 per person that would have. And that would also be on top of UBI, because obviously people could also donate their UBI money if they really wanted to. But that 100 democracy dollars thing would just be specifically for campaigns and campaigns only. And if you don't use it for that, then it's just lost. But so it would just encourage people to actually like participate in democracy a little bit. But and also just to drown out the other money, because dark money is always going to exist, even if it becomes illegal to donate in any way, shape, or form, like massive amount of money. People are still going to do it in some way, shape, or form. That was kind of the way to combat it. The other thing I think he has is he definitely has term limits on on Supreme Court. I'm not sure if he's considering Supreme the same thing for Senates. It's something that's still kind of being discussed. Because the biggest downside to if it was added to House and Senate is that there's not necessarily enough people in every single area of the country where there's perpetually going to be enough people that are going to be competent for their job who are actually going to like run for office. That's like the biggest concern, I think, with people generally, because the country is so big and there's so many areas in it with how many House representatives there would be, that if there was a term limit of, let's say, 8 years on House representatives, there might be some areas of the country where there's not enough competent people to actually run for office if there was a 8-year term limit, or even less if they keep getting replaced out every 2 years or something. But depending on what actual time limit they end up putting on it. I know for sure Yang has Supreme Court limitation. I believe it runs so that one seat is replaced every 4 years or something. I still don't understand why any part of government does have like a permanent kind of thing still. Like the actual amount that you limit it to, like how long, is in question, of course. But as far as like not having any limit at all, that's just absurd. The fact that the meta for the Supreme Court right now is literally just put the youngest person you possibly can on the Supreme Court so that they live to like 70, 80 or something, just so that you can have your ideology represented for a longer period of time. That is completely broken. It's not as bad for Senate and House, but it still happens. Where people have been there for like 30 years, 40 years. They don't even know what technology is, probably. And they're still there, representing people. The smartest people in the country did not reside in DC, pretty much. Good morning to Krill. Yeah, automatic voter registration and ranked choice voting definitely need to be a thing. I know they're two things Yang support. If I'm not mistaken, even Bernie's in support of them too. I think there might be the only two candidates. Trying to think of who else might be in favor of it. But both of those two things definitely need to be implemented. Ranked choice voting and automatic registration for voting. Let's see, I'll take this. Take the blue over, and it was double everything. What would be a true vacation, or, wait, what would be a true vacation team for the new faction? What do you mean by vacation? Or do you mean pure faction? I assume that's faction. Never mind, I think you just typed a V. I was like, wait, vacation? But pure faction team for the new faction. I assume that it is going to be 4 times of the Skull Spam Troop. As weird as that may seem. You just use 4 of it. And that's it. Is most likely going to be the meta for it. And the main reason for that is there just isn't really any other choice. Because the legend doesn't upscale to higher stats. The one that steals gold could potentially be good. Just to make sure the enemy doesn't have gold. And a thing that gets an extra turn whenever it gets a kill just won't be useful. So I'm pretty sure we're just going to be spamming almost entirely the skull spam troop. It's either one of the troop that steals gold with 3 skull spam or 4 skull spam. Which one's more viable, we'd kind of have to test to know for sure. But one of those two is basically what you'd run against it. That spell check killed you. Yeah, autocorrect can do that sometimes. I know whenever I try using like a big word that I don't normally use that often or type out, it'll like autocorrect it to like several other things because I forget how to spell it correctly. And I need to like look up the word before I actually click enter, just because sometimes it'll autocorrect to something that's not even remotely close to the word I was going for. How will the flash offer for deeds work? Likely like every other flash offer, you'll be able to buy it like 1 to 5 times or so, and it'll have some amount of deeds with some amount of gems. How many deeds for how many, or you know, what exactly the cost will be for it relative to how many you get is still in question. But yeah, it should run just like everything else, where you just get like 1 or a few options to buy. It has a few deeds with some gems, and that's it. And you just buy it if you want, or don't if you don't. But we won't really know until we actually see the first one. They were never visible during the beta, so we have not the slightest clue what they will consist of as far as their pricing. But if I had to guess, it's probably a handful of deeds combined with like $5 pack with like 250 gems or something. And it might have a couple buys. It definitely won't be unlimited, that's for sure. It'll definitely be limited how many times you could buy it. So hello, Drock. Welcome back. You got the legend from the most recent kingdom in 800 shards. Nice. And the goblin took you like 3,000. Ouch. That is extremely bad luck if it took you 3,000. Generally, 1,000 shards should almost be guaranteed chance for the legend. Obviously, it's not exactly guaranteed chance, but it's an absurdly high chance that you would get it after 1,000. Really likely. Very, very likely. If anyone still has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know. Oh, so I am probably going to end out the stream soon. So I get a little hungry. Didn't really have much for breakfast. Grab like oatmeal and a banana, and that's it. Luna took you close to 5,000? Wow, just to get 1 copy? Normally you can almost get all the copies within 5,000. We did get really unlucky once. But, I don't recall getting unlucky more than once. Oh, we did have one time where it took us, like, I think a couple thousand to get the Legends. Like, 1 copy of the Legends. But 5,000, that is really, really unlucky. Okay, what do we have here? Grab this one. The other one over there. I guess we'll go to about 200 or so. I would say to all rewards, but not sure how long that will take. Though the further we go, the easier it is to keep getting more points from them, that's for sure. If nothing else. How's the leaderboard looking? We should be making leaderboard, guarantee. Maybe not exactly right now, but we will be by the end of this week. Definitely top 100. Especially since less people will probably go for it due to it being a good faction to farm. Okay, let's see. Never mind. I thought we still had a battle going. I'm like looking at our team, and didn't even notice they were already dead. Fail. Thing kills so quickly sometimes once it gets going. You got one of each troop on your first 200 shards. That is very lucky. Or maybe not so, because normally if you're opening up a bunch of them, you're trying to look for good treasures more so than anything. Like Sacred Treasure, Genie Lamp, stuff like that. We're often not. So we keep getting these useless legendary and mythic ingots. We do not need more of them. We already have more than we'll ever need. They will inflate the cost of Imperials. Mythic and Legendary Imperials actually give you quite a bit. I forget the exact amount. But I know the Mythic one definitely gives you more than one. And I believe the Legend one gives 2. I forget if it was 1 or 2. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 and 4. If I'm not mistaken. It's somewhere around there. Where the Legend one gives 2 and the Mythic one gives 4. It might be slightly different than that, though. I forget their exact values off the top of my head. Also, they could have tweaked it before the patch came out. I don't think the patch notes actually mentions what each one specifically gives. But I recall it being more than 1. And given that each kingdom only requires 3, that's not too bad. And they're not that rare either once they finally start actually doing the deeds. So deeds have not really released yet. But once they start rolling around. Yes, if you're already doing Silver Necropolis on level 20, you might as well just keep doing Silver Necropolis on level 20. Both of them at level 20 are almost the exact same thing. Or, you know, doing both of them in general is about the same thing as far as loot. I believe this one, City of Thieves, is ever so slightly better. However, not by much, if it even is better. But yeah, if you're already farming Silver Necropolis, it's probably not worth it. But if you're farming something like Warrens or anything else that's even weaker than that, then I would say, yeah, it's probably time to go switch to City of Thieves. That's basically how I would make the judgment on that. I'm personally still going to be just doing Warrens, and the main reason for that is just because I actually really want the pet from this faction. And the reason for that is it's required for 16-star, 15 and 16-star Drifting Sands. Some people might not care specifically about that, but I do want to get it. You don't have to keep it exactly at level 20. You actually get more loot if you do the entirety of the level 20 delve. Oh, wait, never mind. If you're doing it during the event, yes. You have to do all the rooms and then run away. Yes, if you're trying to use your event sigils, you have to do every room except the boss room, and then run away, and then repeat. But if you're doing it on your daily thing, you do 20 to completion, and then you do, you just keep going back to 20 on the 1x multiplier. Because if you have the delve at level 10, quality level 10, it gives more loot doing it at 1x multiplier on level 20 than it does doing it on 2x multiplier on level 20, skipping the boss room. And the main reason for that is at level 20, you just get so much of a benefit, or at level 10, Hoard gets such a benefit from completing out all rooms that it outweighs the 1x multiplier that you aren't getting anymore. Yeah, if you're doing it for the event, make sure to never, ever, ever go past 20, though. But if you're doing it for the dailies, you do 20 and then you keep repeating 20 to full completion. And you just backtrack to it on 1x multiplier. Isn't it a Leonis pet? Yes. Did I say Drifting Sands? My bad. I meant Leonis Empire. I might have said Drifting Sands on accident. But yeah, this kingdom's associated to Leonis Empire. It threw me all kind of confusion that Fang Moor Seems like it should be a Mr. Scales faction, but it's not. It's a Kedar faction. And Dark Pit seems like it should be like a Dark Stone faction, but it's a Mr. Scales faction. A couple of them just don't make sense. Yeah, Leonis only has one pet, but it has 2 pets if you get the faction pet. So it actually has 2 pets. But it requires the faction pet for the second pet. And the only way to own the faction pet is to have 2,000 renown in this most recent faction of City of Thieves. There is no way that you can get it otherwise, at least currently. The only way you can get 15 and 16 star Leonis Empires to get 2,000 renown in City of Thieves. And there's no other way to do it. Speaking of that, how is our renown doing? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have tried loading it. It's going to lag forever. I believe we still got a ways to go. We're only at 170 right now, which means our renown should be a little over 1,000 or so. Actually, maybe a little bit less than that because we haven't done pure faction. So renown should be at, let's see, we can actually figure out the exact number. 160 times 3 is 50, 80. It's 1,080. We should have exactly 1,080 renown. If it'll ever load. Yeah, I'm calling it now. Unless I did the math wrong, it should be exactly 1,080 renown. Which means we're halfway there, kind of. Keyword on kind of, because we get 500 basically for free just from doing the faction thing. Or, you know, upgrading the Hoard to 100. Gives us 500. Yeah, we should have exactly 1,080 if I did the math right. If we'll ever load. Can you please load today? I don't want to have to restart the whole game. We already did earlier. Oh, good water break. Stay hydrated. Look at this image. What is this image of which you post? What is this? What is it? Oh, is that Salty? Yeah, didn't she do some kind of yeah, she really likes outfits. I saw like something on now on social media for like a split second. I didn't bother looking at it though. Okay, I'm just gonna restart the game at this point. Why must you lag so much? Why you gotta do this to us? I hope they eventually fix that. They did a patch where they kind of fixed it, but all they did was they took the lag and they moved it to a different location. Like they never removed the lag. They just switched the location in which the lag occurs. From whenever you play too many games too quickly. Okay, let's see. Was I correct? I said exactly 1,080. Oh, sorry. I was 100 off. I guess I carried a 1 randomly. It's 980. I was close. I guess I got an extra 100 somewheres. Yeah, 980 is what we're at. And we need 2,000 for the pet. Okay, we'll stick them in multiplier order now. You have to restart the game because the faction weapon is so bad it breaks the game. Well, it could be potentially okay for Yellow Guild War. I'm pretty sure some people who don't have too many Yellow Defend Guild War options could potentially incorporate it into their team. It's not a bad weapon for Yellow Guild War Defend. It's not the best thing to be using, but it's an option if you don't have other options. Or if you don't know what to use and you just need like a nice utility weapon for it. I might even try building a defend team around it, but we have to wait a month. Because even though it's Yellow Guild War Day right now, we can't go change our team until next month. Because it's already locked in for today. Hello, Cynical! Welcome! Welcome, welcome. With the event, easier to level this one up, and the benefits of having this one higher outweighs having 2 at 20. Yeah, you generally do not want to keep 2 factions at 20, ever. You should only ever have 1 farming faction. Which one that is either in order of usefulness being City of Thieves being the most useful, or Silver Necropolis, or Warrens. Those are the only 3 you should really be farming. And the best one is Thieves. Second best is what's it called? Is Silver Necropolis, or Necropolis, however you say it. And the third is Warrens. Warren's still the only one that has Arcane, but you eventually get so many Arcanes that you don't need Arcanes anymore. Yeah, Warren's is 2 treasure rooms with 2 potential treasure rooms. Silver Necropolis is the same thing, except those 2 other treasure rooms has a lot higher rate. And the City of Thieves has 3 guaranteed treasure rooms, with 1 other room that ever so occasionally is also treasure room at a very low rate. Why is it best to farm? Because it has the highest amount of treasure rooms with 2 tier 5 rooms. But yeah, it has 2 guaranteed tier 5s. It has 3 guaranteed treasure rooms. And it has another room that can potentially be a treasure room at a really low rate. It has a lot of loot going for it. It also has a really good layout. And by a really good layout, I mean like literally the best layout you can ever have. You can literally just go in any direction. There is no such thing as a better layout than that delve. It is basically the definition of what a perfect layout delve is. You'll literally start with the ability to go in every direction you possibly need. It's even better than Hall of Guardians. Because Hall of Guardians had an additional battle that you had to do before you could do that option. Whereas this one, you could literally do it as soon as you start. Or, you know, you do the initial battle and then you could just go any way you want. Yeah, it's an insanely good layout. I don't even think it's possible to make a better layout than that. Oh, why am I trying to run away? Oops, I almost just clicked the run away button. Yes, there is no difference in rewards from 20 to 200. You get renown along the way. But as far as the actual loot that you get if you keep spamming a level 20 compared to keep spamming a level 200, they are the exact same with no difference whatsoever. I know it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I brought that to their attention before Delves even came out, and they never changed it, and it's been out for a year now. And it's still been an issue, but they'll get around to it eventually, hopefully. But yeah, it's never been changed or updated. But yes, the loot of a level 20 delve is the same as a 50, same as a 100, same as a 200, same as a 500. Doesn't matter what level you do it at, it has the exact same loot. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The only difference with going, or the only reason you actually move forward is the first time you move forward on each one, you get a 2x multiplier instead of a 1x. And the other reason is you get renown, but that is also 1 time. All the benefits of moving forward are 1 time only. The extra multiplier that you end up getting is 1 time only, and the renown you get is 1 time only. As far as actually farming factions, there is no difference between a 20 and a 500. We'll grab brown. Get a thing. And spam this until we win. With the last update of 4.4, or so, it is better. Before this, you can prevent clicking PvP button and get max glory seals as well. What were you referring to with that? The button on the thing, on PvP? Hitting PvP tier 1 first day gives more glory per week. Yes. It's not as... Oh, that's what it was related to. Technically, yes. Doing your 1.9k PvP on Monday technically gives you more glory throughout the week. This used to mean a lot back when the game first started, because there were a lot less means of gaining glory. However, in the current state of the game, it's pretty irrelevant if you do it immediately or just eventually get around to it, mainly because it makes up a small amount of glory. If you were to do it on the very first day compared to the very last day, it would only make a difference of about 80 glory. Back in the day, 80 glory might have been a lot, but in the current state of the game, 80 glory is basically the equivalent of 0 glory. But yes, you do technically gain ever so slightly more glory if you were to do your 1.9k PvP on Mondays. But in the current state of the game, that is very, very non-consequential due to how easy it is to farm glory. It is way more common than it used to be. At one point, that daily glory that you get from having a PvP rating is actually left over from when the game first started. At one point, that was the only glory in the entire game, and you literally gained it by no other means other than that daily glory that you got based on where your PvP rating was. That 16 glory that you can potentially get per day. That used to be the only way you gained glory, but then they slowly added more and more ways, and now you can gain like over 1,000 glory per hour. So it's definitely has increased over time by like almost, how many times over is that? It's like 600 times more glory, or sorry, 60 times more glory that you can gain, basically. They drastically increased the rate at which you can accumulate it over time. Same as souls. Souls at one point you only used to be able to obtain like a few hundred per hour or so. And now at one point it peaked at like over 60,000. At the current state of the game, it's probably around 40, 50,000 because it did get ever so slightly nerfed the most recent patch. However, every time prior it got buffed to be insanely high. And it's still insanely high relative to what it used to be if you go all the way back to the game's initial economy. The entirety of the game's economy has expanded, though. Inflation! It happens to video games, too. Can I show the talent tree on Corsair? Yes. However, we're not running this team for Corsair. We're running this team to level Corsair. All of his perks are pretty much irrelevant. The only relevant perk, I think, is the +1 blue. Like, literally everything else is doing almost nothing. I guess the extra 5 gold per turn is technically helping us some, too, for free gold. But, yeah, we're not really using anything on him. The only reason I'm using him is not because he's useful for this team, but because he is free EXP. We've gotten, like, 4 or 5 levels on him. I think we started at, like, level 73 or 74 to stream. Now it's 78. But I'm using him literally just for EXP. I'm not using him for any other reason other than the fact we're getting EXP on him. You should be using either Titan or Warden for this. Warden level 70 being the best with Dispel and Greenstorm. Though Titan's also good with the Elemental bonus and the Brownstorm. And the extra explosions off his other perk that he has. Yeah, normally you only gain like 1 or 2 glory from it per day if you have like no PvP done. But once you get it max, it's 16 glory per day. So it makes about 100 glory difference. If you were to do it immediately compared to not doing it immediately. Because you get 15 more glory for 6 days. So whatever 15 times 6 is how much more glory you end up getting. Compared to doing it on the first day, compared to doing it on the last day. Which comes out to, I could probably do that in my head. What is that? That's 95, right? No, never mind. That's, wait, what am I saying? It's, exactly 90. Yeah, it's 90 on the dot. So you get about 90 more glory doing immediate on the first day compared to doing it on the last day. Is about the amount of glory difference. Which of course is pretty trivial, but hey, 90 glory is 90 glory. If you were to do that every single Monday compared to if you were to do it on every single last day, it would definitely add up over time. So obviously it's a pretty trivial difference. Yeah, the biggest reason to actually do the to farm something up is on Guild War weeks. You end up getting every single win. You end up getting 50 seals. However, this 50 seals counts towards your limit if you haven't already hit 1.5k. So on Guild Wars weeks, it is generally advised, even though I don't even think I'd bother doing it yet, is because I don't really need it that badly. But it is generally advised on Guild War weeks to do 1.9k on Monday, on the day that we don't have any Guild Wars or anything going on. And the main reason for this is every single day you win Guild Wars, you basically get an additional 50 seals that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Because if you haven't hit 1.5k yet, it gets completely wasted. And 50 seals is pretty much 2.5 gem keys, which definitely starts adding up. Because if your guild was to win all 6 days, that means you would have accumulated, what is that? You would have accumulated 15 gem keys simply from having, or, you know, seal keys, but they're basically the equivalent of gem keys later in the game. But you theoretically would have gained the potential of 15 gem keys simply by doing 1.9, or not 1.9k, but by doing 1.5k seals on Monday. It takes a little while, though. It could take a couple hours to get 1.5k seals if you were to grind it out. But, yeah, doing that on Monday and winning every single Guild War day would net gain you an additional, basically 15 gem keys over the course of a week. So that's depending on a lot of factors, like your guild actually winning every single Guild War. Which I believe my guild is doing this week. I believe we're on track to win every single day, except maybe one. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions or anything you want me to go over or anything related to that? Otherwise, I believe I am going to be heading out for now. We will be back soon, though. Well, whatever's considered soon, 6.5 hours from now. We'll be back to go do our nightly stream. And at that point, we'll be going over more factions and messing with our dailies and doing Guild War color of yellow. I believe it was yellow. Yeah, today was yellow day. Because we were just mentioning how the yellow weapon thingy can't be used today. But, yeah, it's Yellow Guild War. So we'll be doing Yellow Guild War and mainly messing with more delves. Hopefully getting up to all rewards. Should be able to get that done tonight. And by the end of this weekend, we'll have Pure Faction done for this as well. And we'll have some more videos going up soon, going over the 4.5 stuff. Specifically videos. We keep going over it on stream, but I don't have videos specifically for some of the stuff yet, obviously. And, yeah, we'll be going over that soon. Tacet, how long is it take to be approved for monetization? You just hit 1k. I have no clue, because back when I got approved for monetization, it did not require 1,000 subscribers at the time. I almost had 1,000 subscribers at the time, but it was not required. So I have no clue how long it takes to go through that process these days. Last I recall, when I ended up going through it, it only took like a couple days to get approved and everything for it. But that was back a couple years ago when I ended up getting approved. So I'm not sure how long it takes in the current system. I assume it still takes like a couple days to a week. It shouldn't take too long. But they probably have to check the channel. But keep in mind, you do need view time and subscribers. Though if you have those subscribers, you probably have the view time already. But I believe it's 40,000 hours watched within a month. And 1,000 subscribers is required. I think my normal viewership per month is around, normally 100,000, give or take like tens of thousands. But I believe it's somewhere around there, as far as how much I generally get. Though it can vary on time to time. But somewhere around there is where it normally lands. But it has both those two requirements. Though you probably already have the 40,000 views, or the 40,000... It's 40,000 viewed minutes or something? I forget what the requirement was these days. Something like that. Let's see. So, what should you put in that foot instead of Doomglaive? Oh, and for the weapon, you can run pretty much any weapon there if you're not running one of the Doom weapons. Sugar's Heart tends to work pretty good because you can use it for cleanse. You can also use any weapon in the entire game that has Storm. Green Storm specifically. Either of those two would end up working. I normally just put Sugar's Heart there. It's something that pretty much everyone has, but, you know, any green weapon that has Green Storm would also work. Or any weapon in general that has Green Storm would also work. So that you can replenish Green Storm, or place Green Storm if you're using a hero class that doesn't already have it, because you're trying to level it. So I would generally advise using a hero class that has it automatically. Anyways, any other questions? Otherwise, I guess I will catch all of you later. As I mentioned, we'll be back in about 6.5 hours from now, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is the new faction allocated in the Underworld? Oh, where is it? What do you mean? It's right down here in the corner, all the way bottom left. Where it's located, all on its own. It's all alone. All the other factions have like other factions near it, but it's all like in a corner. Like we have a group of 3 over here. Got like a clump of 4. I guess Fangmore's kind of on its own, but still like near some. And then we have City of Thieves. If we cover that up, it's like it's not even there. Poor thing. It is a rogue kingdom after all, or rogue faction. I guess it makes sense that it's in the middle of nowhere. But anyways, guys, hope you all have a wonderful day. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you all later tonight. Challenge is done? No. Our game plan is to do them slowly over time. I'm in no rush to get the challenges done. Though do keep in mind, it does require to 6-star every single kingdom. You have to get every single challenge done to the completion of tier 5. So basically to tier 6, up to tier 6 in order to 6-star. Coincidentally, that's how they end up setting it up. You'd probably want to do that anyways, because that's when you get gem keys and event keys, which is the best loot of any of the sets. But, yeah, it's all the way at the end as far as when you end up getting them. Or, you know, like right in the middle of the thing is required for it. But you don't have to do them for anything else. Like, you don't have to do level 10 for anything. There's no achievements attached to it. There's no nothing attached to it. It's basically just for fun if you want a challenge of doing the challenges. We will be doing them most slowly over time, though, just to get them done, in case they are eventually required for something. At this current moment in time, you do not need anything above a level 5 completion challenge on any kingdom. Anyways, guys, I'll catch all of you later. Thanks for stopping by, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And we'll be back 6.5 hours from now, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we are every single night. Goodbye, everyone!